Yeah, that's funny. That was good. That was good. Oh no, that's terrible. That's a rough one. I'm not a fan of that one, guys. All right, we're gonna turn it off. Listen, guys. We are so excited to get started today. And I started early. I put the question up, put the banner up, but we've been going already. All right. We're gonna come in real quick because I mean it's been one of those days. We're gonna turn this banner off if I can find it anywhere, and we're gonna bring this down. We'll go back. We'll touch on that. It is April 1st, so I apologize in advance because not everything that is said today will be true, probably in some way, and that I don't want to offend anyone up front or anything like that. But like listen, there's been jokes that going around today. We've already seen some stuff kind of posted on the internet. It gets a little crazy. But it would have been the cruelest joke ever if I came on here and told you that like JDZ called out this morning and he couldn't come in. Like I wanted to do it. I wanted to start that way and be like, oh guys, I'm really sorry. JDZ couldn't make it. He called me. He said it's just like I don't know, a train wreck outside of his house or something. Like I couldn't do it. It's just like I just like couldn't even bring myself to do it. So because I couldn't bring myself to do it, I'm gonna bring him in. I'm gonna
Oh man. Dan, it's good to be here. I got my cup of coffee in the morning. Hopefully, guys are out there sipping.
So what's your Disney? I have the make today magical. What do you got?
It's just like a little configuration of all the different locations at Disney World. I'm a big park man myself. Disney adult doing my thing, but it's good to be here. And I didn't even realize that it was April 1st until you said that. Yeah. And now everything I've read, I am just like looking back on it. People are already getting me. Oh, the DLC schedule just dropped. No, it didn't. You guys are so rude. Can we cut that, please? April Fools, let's get rid of it, huh? Because my emotions and my gullibility, I just don't. Doesn't mix well.
I have like such a love-hate relationship with the day, for sure. For me, like my favorite day is actually like New Year's Day because I love making jokes about like the time. Like, bro, you haven't done that since last year. Like I love those jokes. Like they're super dad, super on brand for me.
Yep. That's a high profile dad behavior. Like if you're as soon as you have a child, you're authorized to make those jokes. And if you don't, I'd be super disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh, you've had those same clothes on for a year.
Yeah.
You gotta drop them. I
cannot believe you've been wearing those pajamas for literally the whole year. Like that's ridiculous.
It's so good, man. You gotta make those jokes. I love it. I do enjoy that.
But yeah,
I'll be disappointed if you didn't though too.
No, I know. But today is like one of those where I wake up this morning. I look at my phone. I see that I was tagged in something, and then like I go and scroll, and I'm like, yeah, that's not true.
Yeah.
Like the first thing I see, I'm just like, yeah, no. And then someone in Discord earlier, shout out to me, his name is me. His name is actually me. He's like, oh, check out this thing, and I'm like, if this is fake, I will hurt you.
Yeah. You gotta be careful. I might honestly, now I gotta think about that. I think I might just leave my phone off for the rest of the day because I already got hit by it because I'm super gullible. I wake up early and I'm like, oh dude, the new thing is happening. Someone really got me hard with the DLC drop, the DLC schedule drop. I clicked it so hard. I was like, because it looks so real. It looks so official. I was like, hey guys, new DLC schedule coming out in Europe. They got their dates. And I was like, really? Oh my God, I'm so excited. And bro, they got me bad in a major. This one, is this the one? This one? It looks so good. Yo, Dan, that looks so good. Doesn't that look legit? And then they really kicked it up a notch. Because they put like really obscure cities. They got reading on there. They got munching on there. They got it all. And I was like, oh, this looks
all
so
it
real.
needed was a link, man. All it needed, like all it needed was a fake Disney Lorcana website. And everybody would have bought in so hard on this. Guys, if anyone's reading this going, oh my God, listen, there's an April Fool's there. It's on the screen. I made sure I should have made it bigger, but I was going to have a little fun, but we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, how cool would this have been if this was real?
Yeah. They got us. You could tell, Dan, this wasn't like a spur of the moment kind of thing. This was like
they planned this.
This was premeditated. They took a little bit of effort and really said, okay, we're gonna.
Great.
There's a couple of weeks. We're gonna put a lot of weeks into this, a lot of thought. And as soon as April Fool's drops in, we're gonna hit them with it. And it cut me deep. This one hurt my feelings right here.
We get a shout out to Redding in the chat, right? Shout out. Love it. Yeah, I think that's the truth. Is that this is like one of the things I woke up to at 6:40 in the morning. I'm like, come on, guys, like you don't play games, all right? Don't play games.
There's got to be certain lines. Like it's a small little thing. Like, oh hey, you got a ketchup stain on your shirt. April Fools, no you don't. That's fine, but you can't be playing with people's.
Because like I mean, I even wore the Disney Lorcana challenge shirt today. You know, like I was ready to buy into the bit, and I was like, it's just too mean. Like it's
I'm glad you didn't do that. You got to be better. Be the change you want to see in the world. Damn. I would have to say,
but yeah, it is true. It is one of those where it would be great if that were true, but you know, it's April 1st. It's not true. But there's a lot of things that would be great if it were true. That if like the news was delivered today, you'd be like, yeah, that's like, come on, why would you do that? You know,
mm-hmm.
I think companies have learned. I think there was definitely some times in the past where like news for big companies came out on the day, and you're just like, are you sure?
You sure about that? You sure? You certain? I don't know anymore. I'm everything. Like I said, anytime someone texts me, especially if it's somebody that hasn't texted me in multiple weeks, and they text me now on April 1st, I'm like, no, I'm not even gonna hit me up tomorrow. We'll see. I'm not even gonna engage.
100%. So we kicked it off early here. We started with the question of the day, right? And I've been realizing, guys, like for those of you that have been already in chat and hang out with us, I have been streaming a lot because this was the 13th question of the day that I have come up, and that is like way more like already, I think, than I did in 2024. So I've been hanging out lots of mornings with you guys. But our question today is, what is the most common mistake that you do when playing? I saw a couple really good ones, JDZ, and I want to bring them back up and kind of like just go through them because there's a couple good ones in chat. I like this one the most because I feel like we do this all the time. Forgetting about resist.
Ooh, shout out Tiny Toe Mate as well. I know some Tiny Toe Mate, and forgetting about resist. That is one of those things that I think on like it depends on your level of play that you're at. Because as you know, Dan, I have two standards.
Dude, I think we all do it. I honestly, I really
no. I mean like on like certain level. Like if you're at a league night, game night, I'm like fine. You can take it back. You can have it. Hey, keep in mind, hey, there's a resist around. Be careful.
Yeah.
But if I'm at a DLC or if I'm at a serious competition, and I got that big Cogsworth sitting there, and I got another big Cogsworth right beside him, and I have my exerted Hiram, and you come in with your Maui, I'm not letting you take it back.
No, I'm with you. I'm not
letting you take it back.
I don't think that this is necessarily that either. I think this is, how many times do you see a Calhoun challenge a Hiram and the Calhoun takes the damage?
So many times.
All the time. It's like we just forget the text. Like it just doesn't exist.
So many times. Yeah, that is true. I do agree. I think they should make cards with resist a different color. There you go. That's like a little border or something. Like instead of the black border, give them like a little yellow border or something, like a warning. I don't know. That might be a bit bridge too far.
Yeah, like the keywords just like generally had like a different color. I mean, obviously it adds to printing costs and things like that. But yeah, I mean, we also like, this is like kind of a little bit off topic, but we don't have any like tokens, to really represent them either. So it's not like even the starter decks they're giving out like a resist token or something like that. Like that could be even something super simple. Like they have it like on the DLC streams. Sometimes you'll see it and they'll like put it on the table and like that way you kind of notice it. But if like in the packs, in the starter decks, in like the quest, like whatever like let's use the Lilo gift set as an example. Like you make another product like that, like not everyone's gonna buy it, but if you put these tokens in there, everyone's like, oh man, I wish I just had one of those in my deck box. Easy.
And to go in further, is that legal, like to carry yourself? Because I know some people can get on Etsy and find some stuff, but when you talk about that note-taking thing, there's a line. Like, is that something that you are authorized to use as far as you know? And you're,
in fairness, like that's a whole conversation too about what is and what is not note-taking and things like that. I think that like public game information, should not be considered note-taking. That's kind of where I would be at with that. Like it's there, it's public. It's no different than if you played a Diablo on turn 1 and you saw your opponent's hand and you remember the cards in their hand, but you don't remember what the card does. You're technically allowed to call a judge and say, "Hey, I played Diablo on turn 1. He had this card in his hand. Can you please tell me what the card does?" It's public information, so like you can actually do that. But it's like one of those where it's like a gray area of like, is it note taking? Like, I don't, you know. I don't know.
I think to go to double, I'll quadruple down right now, Dan. I'll say let's just let note taking be a thing, and let's just allow it to be a part of the game. I think will help a lot of people as long as you can do it in a competent and capable manner where it's not taking a tremendous amount of time. You can't even interact with your opponent's turn anyway. Why not just be able to jot a few things down on your notepad and just have it be something? Thoughts on that?
I'm going to circle back to that when we get to another topic.
Okay.
You make this comment, and then I can instantly rebuttal it of why I think it's also a bad idea.
I like this.
We'll circle back to that subject because I got to hit up my buddy Christian here. Okay, Christian, TFM representative in the ICL. He's like, I spent all weekend thinking about my stakes, and you want me to just pick one? Listen, you finished in the top 16 this past weekend in a 120 plus player tournament. You finished 17th. You hit the bubble. You had a great weekend. Don't let that shit get you down. Mistakes happen. We're not all perfect. Done is better than perfect. You played 2 incredibly good tournaments to winning records. Like, just don't let them eat you. Where was this one that I read and I kind of laughed about it? Oh yeah, here it is. My most common mistake: not playing Sapphire. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it, guys. We're gonna talk about it.
That's funny, dude. That is so. Bro, the hilarity of your chat area here is like next level. There's some really funny people on this whole thing that are commenting. Oh man, as Braden Bodish, we loving intentional draw? Oh, don't get me started.
It's coming, buddy. All right, I got you this morning, Braden. I got you. All right, listen.
Don't get me started.
Listened. All right, listen. This is the real reason that this is happening today. Other aside from the fact that I would spend any Tuesday morning with JDZ here, the fact that I had to listen to JDZ discuss some of these things for 2 days, and I had to hear him talk about it with all sorts of different people. I'm like, you know what? We gotta do this on my channel because I gotta talk about this. Because
I'm down. I will sit here and listen. I'm all about having these nice heated debates, a little heated dialogue, because a little discourse is what's going to make us all better as a community. Because we all want the same thing. We want the best possible game that we all can play with a fair and balanced system of rules and responsibilities. So we're just all great. So if you feel some way and I feel some way, it's not that I don't like you or I don't like your take. I just think my way might be a little bit different. And I'm certain there's somewhere we can just meet in the middle and have a good amalgamation of both ideas. And I think that's what the best product will be.
I'm not one for politics pretty much anywhere, but I do think that the reason we can't have these conversations anymore in general in life is because of politics, because it just feels like no matter what, when we have a conversation, people think that you can't come away being educated and they just come away feeling upset or angry or like, it's like discouraged. So yeah, like we should have these conversations when we can and when it makes sense. And when it's not about a topic that like does awful things to everybody.
Yeah. And makes everyone like super disgruntled. So
I think that's not drawing my card when going second, the purple pansy here.
That happens.
What? It happens way more than people realize. And like it happened even on stream this weekend. Like I was 100% certain. I forget exactly what match it was, but I'm like, I don't think that player drew a card.
So I have so many mistakes that I make in my game. That's kind of, I've done that before. You want to do mine first? I'll wait. I'll let the chat keep popping off and doing theirs.
We'll keep finding.
I got one that I do, and I do this at least I would say once a week because you got to understand, Dan. I have tremendous brain damage. All right, that's a fact. Okay, and my brain does not work as good as it used to. And one thing that I do very common is that when I'm doing the alter phase and I switch my cards, I will often shuffle the cards before I draw, at least once a week. It is so embarrassing. I'm like, oh man, I forgot to draw new cards. You're supposed to put them to the bottom, draw the new cards, and then shuffle your deck. I'll put the cards back in my deck. I'll shuffle, and I'm like, oh, dude, I didn't draw.
Are you sure you just didn't have a bad alter?
No. I'm just cooking myself because what'll happen more often than not, the cards that I will send to the bottom, I will draw again because I shuffled my deck before I drew the cards. Yeah, and it's just like, dude, you got to wake up. you got to lock in. Okay, that's just absolutely uncalled for. I'm just doing myself a disservice.
I had to call a judge on myself. I think it was in DLC Seattle, where I I like grabbed my hand, I put the cards I was gonna keep on the side, I put my cards at the bottom, and then like I drew 7 new cards. You know, like I was just like, and I'm like looking at my hand, and like I'm like really like super hyper focused, and we're both looking at each other, and the other cards are still like on the table, like they're just like sitting in front of me, and then like I look down, I'm like, what the hell are those? And I'm like, oh, what the hell? And I was like, judge. And this is like when my opponent was like, why are you calling the judge? What did I do? I'm like, no. Like, I'm dumb. Like, I messed up. Like, judge. Like,
and they probably just made you alter all 7 and just ship all those back to the bottom of the deck and shuffle.
Yeah, I just randomly shuffled everything, drew 7 cards. I was like, I burnt myself on an altar, basically. 100% burnt myself. But it was one of those moments where I'm just like, how did I do that?
Yeah. And I mean, people don't really talk about that enough, Dan, about how some of these tournaments are just so long, and you're there all day in a venue, and you're fatigued, you're dehydrated, you're probably not sleeping well, you got anxiety, you're stressed out. And I believe it was R&B. He was saying like he wore his fitness watch throughout the national tournament, and he said he burned like over, like 20,000 calories or something, and his heart rate was like at 190 beats per minute for like so long. I'm like, dude, because you're doing a physical event at that point, and your brain is not going to function as well as it should.
I got the Apple Watch too, and there's definitely times where like it'll show up like, what's going on, like your heart is racing, like you were sitting doing nothing, but your heart is like, bro, why are we moving like Sonic? Like I don't like what's going on, so yeah. That's a tough one. I think mistakes are, they are mistakes, and they do happen, and shit happens. We move on. Like we were talking about a little bit before, like accidents happen, right? Like we go, we don't ever get in a car and go like, man, I want to hit something today. Like, that's not in it. Like that's not true, So
for sure.
But yeah, I think it's interesting, and we'll pick back up on the topics as we go through today, and as new viewers come in. Thank you. You guys are already super active in chat today. Let me see what this does. First, all right. So I have a question for someone. How should you respond to someone who continually misses triggers but decides to go back after already missing the triggers to apply the trigger, like AKA Sapphire Coil? Okay, so 2 things, which is really, really frustrating about Disney Lorcana. And we're going to talk about the rules a little bit today as well. But in Disney Lorcana, it is like actually oddly written in the rules that each player is in charge of triggers, whether it is yours or not. So like if your opponent is actively missing manual triggers and you are allowing it to happen, when a judge is called, you both will get a warning for sloppy play, whatever the term for it is. I'm not an official judge, guys. They have the answer. If someone's hanging out in chat, they might have the answer for me. But you'll basically both get a warning because like it's a manual thing that has to happen. And then it's weird because there's like a second layer to this rule to where if you miss something and you call a judge, the opponent still has the ability to tell you no or not.
Yeah.
So like I don't really understand this. I think that this needs is another one of those rules that really needs to be kind of fixed and clarified, because in a way, it should be proper game state for each player to acknowledge manual triggers, but there is a level of gamesmanship. If we're playing it, like you said, we're playing a DLC and you miss your Diablo trigger, like, no, I'm not going to give it to you.
Right.
We're here playing for, we're playing for stakes.
Right.
For stakes, you got to play in that.
You're playing for keys. And honestly, that's a very difficult thing for people to get around, to tell your opponent to say no. I think what we have to do as a community as well, especially in these competitive spaces, you have to normalize saying no, and you have to be okay with saying no. There is nothing wrong with saying no. It is your right to say no as a player. But what we have to do also on top of that is that we have to separate. There needs to be a separation between social play, casual play, local league play, and highly contested competitive play. When you're in a competitive play bag, that is a different world. You're there to compete. You're there to win. It is a competition, and you need to be locked in, switched on, laser focused. If you're not paying attention to the rules of the game, that is a skill expression, and you're not demonstrating the skills required to compete on the most competitive stage. If this is a local league thing and someone, hey, I'm new to Lorcana, I'm trying to get into the game, I don't know how to play it too well. Hey, let's play a game. Hey, guess what? You missed this thing. Hey, let's wind it back a little bit, because you're trying to introduce someone to it. But if we're sitting down at a DLC and we're trying to compete, then it's time to compete. And we cannot be sitting here responsible for your opponent's ineptitude. That is not your responsibility, and you deserve to say no in those spots. I don't have any issue, because I'm not going to expect you to take back my plays. If I make a mistake, if I'm not playing right, if I miss a card effect, then I'm just gonna have to eat it. But it shouldn't be your responsibility to coach me to defeat me. That's insane. Why would you ask for that? But that's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah. And to clarify, no, this does not include May triggers. May is a May. You made the choice to not do it. That's your fault.
Yeah.
This is very much like triggers that are hyper specific. Like Beast is an example. Like Beast's Tragic Hero is not a May. Like, you're supposed to do it, and like both players are supposed to acknowledge it. But if player A with Beast skips his Beast trigger and then realizes it before he does anything and calls the judge over, player B gets to decide, like, do you want to give him the Beast trigger? Like, no, I don't.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry, but no, it's time to play. Again, it all depends on the context of where you are in the event, the auspices of which the event is. So if it's a local thing, or if it's a league turn, or even some set champs, and even my opponent, if it's like an actual legitimate child or someone who doesn't have that much experience, I'm not about to sit there and do that to them. But if we're on the DLC circuit, I don't care who you are, it's time to play, and I'm not going to give you any advantage over me. It's just not going to happen. There it is.
Facts. We are like 25 minutes in already, and we haven't even touched a slide.
Okay, we're good. Sorry. I'll shut up.
We are cooking. All right, guys. Like, we got the chef station up. We got homemade omelet. We are just going today. All right.
Dude.
And this is the energy. This is what I love. Like, and it's really funny. I got to give a shout. I don't say this ever. Okay, I got to give a shout. West Coast is the best coast. All right.
Okay.
We got JDZ on here for one of these. We got Dad Kana on here for one of these. We got Lorcana Man. We've had so many West Coast visitors come out and hang out with us. For me, it's 11. For you, it's 8. You know, like,
hey, I've been up. I get up and active.
Early.
I gotta understand. I'm 20 years in the military. I've been getting up since 5 for the past 20 years. So this is nothing to me.
Yeah,
I'm good with it.
I'm the same. I gotta get up every day at 6:15 anyway. I gotta take my 2 kids to school. You know, it's part of the everyday regimen. I'm awake. I'm here. This is why this time schedule is great for me, because I'm like, I get 3 hours without kids. This is yippee, you know? So, but it is fun. And seriously, guys, chat is killing it today. It is running a mile a minute. I can't even keep up with all of it. All right. I can't even keep up with all of it. But real quick, we're going to go in, right? That was the preamble. That's like the pre-log, right? Like, that's like you open up the book cover and they're like, hey, this is what's going to happen today. And it's like, no, this is energy. Okay.
meet the author. Okay. This is, hey, we haven't even started the show. Okay.
Shout out. We love Gabe. Oh my God. Gabe, I get to see you in like 3 days. Oh, I'm jealous. God, I'm so excited.
I want to meet Gabe so bad.
Come down. Gabe's my boy. You're my boy, Blue. All right. But seriously, speaking of Blue, I gotta energy real quick. I gotta be serious for a moment with you. Right. Okay, we good? I can be serious for a moment. All right. Yep. So we're gonna go full screen, because listen, today, this month, you know, it is April 1st, which I hate. This is why I hate April 1st, because we're in a month that is very, very near and dear and important to my heart. Okay, and that month for me is it is Autism Awareness Month. So for me, in April, we wear blue, autism awareness. Tomorrow is National Autism Acceptance Day. For those that you do not know, you don't know the story, you don't know anything like that. I have 2 children that are both diagnosed on the spectrum for 2 completely different things. And one of the hardest things for me, in all honesty, in like since the last 5 years where my children were diagnosed, is that I have friends, I have family that they still don't understand. They still don't know what it means. They still don't get it. I still get questions like, oh, you know, does your, like, is it like, was it fixed? Like, did your kid, like, no, like, that's not what this is about. So like for me, to you, all I can ask for anyone this month, from anyone this month, is just like take a moment, Google autism, just like take read a paragraph, read a website, acknowledge what it is, educate yourself, and remove yourself from ignorance, because it is a huge everyday part of my life. I'm affected by it every single day. My children are affected by it every single day. And it is one of those things where I think a lot of people don't understand. I think a lot of people see something happen in public and they're like, oh man, what a bad parent. Like he can't control his kid. He doesn't know and there's so many of those moments that happen because you are the type of person that have no idea what the hell you're talking about. You have no idea what the story is of any given person on the street. And this goes well past autism and all those things like that. But in one of those worlds, the best thing that I can ask from anyone here is if you have no idea what that word means, take a minute, hit the Google, hit it, type it in, educate yourself, learn a little bit about it. And I can promise you that for my streams for the next couple of months, there will probably be more subjects like this, and there will probably be more conversations about what it is. But what I can also promise you is that in our space, in Disney Lorcana, some of the people that you know and love in this are all on the spectrum. Some of the people that I have now grown to love and grown to have conversations with are all on the spectrum. And there are some very, very big people in this space that are on the spectrum in some way or fashion. And, I love them. I love that they put themselves out there. I love that they are representing a community that doesn't get represented well enough. So for me, to you, from using my space this month, it's a huge thing. It's a huge benefit. I do multiple benefits a year for autism. I do different charities. Last year, I donated like $4,500 to charity and things like that. So it's important. And yeah, just take a moment. Any given Sunday, go in, hit the Google, just educate yourself, guys. But
well said. And as someone, I am going to raise my hand and say that I am someone who is quite ignorant to the subject. So I will do this. I didn't know there was an Autism Awareness Month, and I'm going to make myself aware. And I want to thank you personally for allowing me to be here with you and you sharing your influence and your space to talk about these types of things to raise awareness, man. But is there anything else I can do? Like, how can I don't. Again, I'm as someone who doesn't know, I haven't been affected. I don't have, I don't have it doesn't affect my day life. But is there more I can do to
me,
maybe help?
It's not about what you can do, right? Like, there's no cure for this, right? There's not, like, we're not searching for any of that. All we're really searching for is a world of understanding and how we can put people in a more comfortable position. In all honesty, shout out to Lorcana Bell. Shout out to Melissa from last week. They were here. They were on the cast with us, and we talked about women in the Lorcana space. And like, it's not the same, but it's the same level of like, how do you communicate with someone? How do you understand what they're doing? If we sit down and you get this like really weird, awkward vibe from like a person, like, don't immediately think that it's a negative. Don't immediately think like, hey, okay, maybe this is how they are. Maybe this is just how they are built. Maybe this is just how they interact in the world. I think there's a lot of that where, like my son, he's nonverbal, so like he's not a kid that's going to walk up to you and say hello, and a lot of people look at that and they're like, oh, like, I guess he doesn't like me. It's like, no, like, that's not it. He's just, this is him. This is who he is. My daughter, complete opposite. She'll come up. I don't care who you are. She has never met you before in her life. If you were here in my house and she came home, she would probably walk up to you and hug you. Have no idea who the hell you are. They're both on the spectrum, two completely different people. But it is one of those, like, just when you look at someone, when you are facing a conversation with someone, if you feel instantly off and you're getting a bad vibe, just take a moment and go, let me assess the situation. Let me get a little bit more information. Let me take the time to really address this and see, like, don't judge the book by its cover. That's the biggest takeaway I would say for this month for you is, like, if you have any of those people in your community and you're just like, you've always got like a vibe and you really don't understand it, take it, ask a question.
Okay. We can do that. And I do appreciate it, man. I learned something. We're all just getting better. We're all just on this journey together through life, and we're all just trying to make the most of our opportunity. And I personally, I do appreciate this. So I will take the time to educate myself, and now I am inspired. And thank you for that. and this is good. This is why we're here. We're all in this together.
That's the good. Oh, don't.
Oh, sorry. Okay, no, sorry.
Start now. We're never going to finish.
We're never going to stop. Let's cut. You know me. When a song comes to my heart, I have to let it out. I can't control it. Maybe that's my own little thing. I don't know. If it comes to my mind, it's coming out vocally. I can't stop it.
Now I have to derail for a moment. The thing that I do most, and I think it drives my wife insane, is that like any verbiage that were to come up in conversation, if it is lyrics to a song, I will immediately, completely out of context, if it's boom, I'm singing the song. Like, I mean, like every time. Like there is nothing. The next words out of my mouth are lyrical awfulness because I can't sing good. But I love it. I love it. It's part of me. It's part of personality. So yeah, like instant. I'm telling you, like
I do the exact same thing. Like just finish the lyrics, but just turn it into a song. She gets so annoyed.
Jukebox mode. I love it. This is it. It's jukebox mode. I love it.
She gets so annoyed when I do that though too. But I mean, if you're not annoying your spouse, then what are you really doing? I suppose you got to keep it fresh. You're talking.
Oh man, I wish my wife was listening for that comment. Oh boy, here we are. Well, we got the Lord Keepers in the house.
Yo,
the Lord Keepers in the house.
Katie, I like Katie so much. I spent like 22 hours with Katie this weekend. Okay, this past weekend we did some coverage over at the Lord Keepers Inn and also on the JDZ Quests on Twitch. And remarkable content creator, another person that I just absolutely adore in this community. So
I make fun of her all the time, and I listen. Like we had a little behind the scene, right? Like Katie can't take jokes, and I said, listen, you got to learn to like cooperate with East Coast people because like the more I make fun of you, the more likely that I love you, and then you just got to learn. Like you got to learn to take the jabs because like this is just how we communicate. Like. I literally said last weekend, I only went on Twitter to make fun of Katie. That was it. That was the only purpose. It was the only purpose of that day to go on Twitter. It was like, I'm only going there to make fun of Katie because she like missed out on something. And I didn't care at all. I don't care enough. But what I care about is like, no, I'm going to get
the reaction
today.
Just a little troll. Yeah, just a light amount of cyberbullying never hurt anyone.
Yeah. No,
just all I would say is just keep Katie away from your melee bracket.
No. I love it.
Once you give her a melee bracket and it's not complete, okay, it better be complete, coast to coast. If it's not done, don't give it to her because she's gonna get on the case and she's gonna come and track you down, and you don't want those types of.
You were wrong because I love the meta. Okay. I love the information, and I love that Katie is willing to do the digging. Listen, I had to shout out to Austin. Right, Austin caught some shit on the JDZ Quest stream the other day because Katie's like, I'm gonna kill this guy. I don't know what he's playing, and I'm like, all right, listen, I'm friends with him on Facebook. I got you. I'm gonna go hit him up. This is how much we are digging. No,
I'm like, Katie, it's fine. Just let it go. She's like, no, I will not let it go. As a matter of fact, this is not fine.
All right, listen, we gotta stop.
We're never gonna finish. We're never gonna finish.
All right. So, is there a problem, guys? Listen, JDZ, I didn't tell you what this was. Okay, you see this awful graphic that I quickly put together in screenshots. What do you notice, bro? What do we got going on here?
All right. So my initial impression, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing they are already ahead of us. They are well within Autism Awareness Month because of the amount of blue that I see on the screen. They're already. So sorry.
Jesus.
The meta has been in Autism Awareness Month for a long time because there is a sea of sapphire on this screen, and that is, is there a problem? I don't know if that is the correct term. Problem. It's not good at least in my assessment. I wouldn't say it's good, but a problem. I think that's going to be that's going to be for others to determine. But there's a lot of sapphire. And I would say if I had to call it, if you had to put a knife to my back and say, is this a problem? Yes or no? I would say yes. simply because the Sapphire strategy, the way the games roll out, the way the games are played, the length in which the games take, because they're not quick. You're going to time a lot, the ramping and the drawing and the consistency things. I would say yes. If there were other strategies that didn't take as long, it would be different. What are your thoughts, Dan?
I don't want to. I got to give a huge shout out to the super chat here by Zero
No.
Din. The meta needs more Robin Hood, it seems.
Let's go. I can concur with that.
Love it. Thank you for the super chat, sir. I do appreciate that so very much. Yeah, so for those of you looking at home, we did the meta report yesterday. It's out there. Hopefully everyone loved it and supported it, watched it already. These are the infographics, the shitty version without an actual graph that we make here, right? Like we do it up, we hit the charts, we make it look all pretty. I wanted to show it like this so people could see it, because I think people see that chart and listen, that chart yesterday was scary, because it was literally a skyscraper of Ruby Sapphire against the world yesterday. But this is just another way to look at it, guys. Again, don't always judge a book by its cover. You want to see it in another direction? Here it is. Here's the other direction. If we were playing connected dots, I could 100% go through the maze on Ruby Sapphire. Okay, like we can get there. So, oh, shout out to Josh. Thank you so much, Josh. I do appreciate that, sir. So yeah, this is just this weekend's tournaments. And honestly, if I did this graphic over the last month, it would be it might make people vomit, if I'm being real with you. So, this is from a couple weekends ago. This is Hector. This is the deck that won. And this past weekend, I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the decks looked a lot like this,
Okay.
Like that's what this is representing here, right? Like this comes out, that deck does this awesome thing. It was in the mirror, right? Mirror in the finals at Charlie's Collectibles. Shout out to CCS, shout out to Lord 20 Pro. And this deck comes out, and this is where we're going to talk about it, right? We're going to have the conversation, and whether you like it or not. Do we need to start talking bans? Do we need to start talking erratas? Do we need to have a real conversation of like, is this deck a problem? Is Sapphire a problem? Like, where are we at? Where are we at now? You spent 22 hours, right? Let me get you in this, right? Yep. You spent 22 hours casting this weekend.
Yes.
You've been casting LCC, ICL. Yes. You've been casting other events, right? You have spent a lot of time in March watching games.
And listen,
where are you at right now?
And Dan, that's just scratching the surface, okay? Because as a broadcaster, before I go into this, I love and respect the craft of doing broadcasting so much, okay? So we're the time that you see, the 20 hours of the broadcast this weekend, the LCC, the ICL, my own personal streams, that's just what you see. But behind the scenes, I'm also watching so many games because I want to stay as close and in tune to the meta as possible, so I can bring that real time, up to date, live, entertainment. And I gotta know what the hell I'm talking about. So I'm always watching that third party app that we don't want to talk about too much. I'm always watching people's Discords and just staying as close to the game as I possibly can, because I want to be the best possible broadcaster as I can be. So I do feel that I've seen a lot of Lorcana, and I've seen a lot of it happen. And I think, yes, it is now time to make a ban list, to do some type of altering to the game. And I think we've identified what the problem might be, at least in my opinion. I am team Zan Syed all the way when I say that it is time for Popsicle to be either removed from the game completely or tremendously errata. And I'll tell you why. Because Popsicle, the one cost item that says when you play this card, draw a card, and when you can move it from free to heal nothing if you want. I think that card is the facilitator to every issue that we have in our current metagame right now. And a lot of people say you shouldn't remove Popsicle. You should hit Hiram Flaversham. You should hit Tomato Happy as a Clam. You should hit Scrooge McDuck. That is so many cards you're trying to remove when you can just hit the one facilitator and continue to print these whole ultra powerful cards. I don't want to limit the card producers or the card game designers from making these cards. I want to limit the facilitators from making those cards OP, super over the top, busted. If you hit Hiram, if you hit Popsicle, everything will sort itself out. The game will be stabilized, I feel. What are your thoughts, Dan? I can rant on this all day, and I don't want to have too many enemies, but what are your thoughts? Do you think it's time for errata? Do you think it's time for a ban list?
3 weeks ago, after the first weekend of events, I came on the channel and I said popsicle.
Mm-hmm.
And for all the reasons you just named, right?
Yeah.
All the reasons you named. But if we we put our thinking caps on a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but I have been playing card games since I've been 10, 11 years old, right? I have lived through many different games. I've lived through many different ban lists and things like that. And I think that in recent memory, in Match the Gathering, the thing that we're not supposed to talk about, not supposed to call, they have done this thing over and over again where when they make a ban, they never ban the card that is actually the problem. They always ban the facilitator.
Right.
And the problem with doing that is that there will always be more facilitators. There will always be more. While Popsicle is very clearly one of the best, I dare say it is an underrated card in Disney Lorcana. Like, I literally dare say that, because people do not understand exactly how broken the card truly is.
Right.
Because honestly, when you ask people like top 5 cards in Lorcana, no one ever says Popsicle.
You'll never say it. You'll never say it. I will now, but you'll never say it. It'll just sneak right under the radar. It's so unsuspecting.
So while it is clearly a card that you can 100% target, and I do 100% think it would impact the game, my question to you, right, my rebuttal response is, do you think it's actually enough? If they were to ban Popsicle, do you think that it's actually enough to say this is all we need?
100. I honestly would love to see a start with Popsicle, and then you play it a little while, and then you make an assessment. Okay, I gotta jump on it. Okay, I think it will be enough. I think it will be, because okay.
When they eroded Bucky, did they say, "Oh, we're just going to remove Ward"?
No, they went all in. They went scorched
No,
earth.
that's the point. Right now, if there's a world that Ravensburger does do anything, and please do something, in all honesty.
Yeah.
If there is a world, I don't think there's any world where we're going to play the wait and see. We're going to be
okay.
That's
so
my humble opinion.
If you say make a decision right now, time to go, I would love to see Popsicle gone.
Sure.
And I think it would be enough, because just look at the turn. Look, you've played enough Disney Lorcana, you watched enough Disney Lorcana, you've been around this game long enough, you understand how these curves work, and you understand how the Ruby Sapphire strategy works, you understand how the Sapphire still works, you understand how these new cards work. You'll get that Ruby Sapphire would take a tremendous step back. The entire Sapphire the whole entire Sapphire color combination would take an entire step back, but it would not lose its identity. You still will be able to ramp. You still will be able to have other draw engines in your deck. It would open up the game so much. The Sapphire Emerald strategy could be a tier 1 threat. Discard would come back. Amethyst Steel would come way back super strong. Ruby Amethyst would come back. The game would be, you'd have a top 16 with 16 different decks every single time, because right now people only play Ruby Sapphire because you're a competitor and you want to win. Why would I not play the best deck if I'm trying to win? Why? It would be silly. And the deck would come down so far, it would be a high B, low A tier strategy still without that card. And I think it would just clean the game up so much.
Okay. All right. I don't think so.
You don't think so? I gotta hear. What's that curve looking like?
I honestly don't think Popsicle's enough. I think that I think Sapphire has been playing with arguably the best card in Disney Lorcana since set 2, and his name is Hiram Flybersham.
Okay.
He is the deck. In games that you lose, in games that you lose, you're like, oh, like I didn't see the Popsicle. I didn't see the. The real truth is the games that Ruby Sapphire loses are the games that they do not see Hiram. And the games they win, it's almost equivalent because they saw Hiram. And guess what? Hiram doesn't give a shit that he ate a Popsicle. All right? Like, he just ate, and it didn't matter what the item is. So, if we remove Popsicle and we remove the cheap, efficient, replace myself card, it lowers the level of consistency by a margin.
That I'm saying, you take the Popsicle out, that means you're playing Ice Block, you're playing Vitalosphere on 1. You need a 1 card in order to fulfill your curve obligation. Unless you're not ramping on 2 anymore, you have to have a 1 cost item. And you're talking max Vitalosphere, you're back on Ice Block. If Hiram comes out on 4 after you ramp and eat an Ice Block, you're so good with that as the opponent, because now guess what? You've gained 2, but you've negged yourself on a card that's not, and then you go happy as a clam, get it back. You're still not drawing 15 more cards, and the engine will still go. Right. You'll still have that engine, but that bad boy is going to go from a Ferrari to a Miata, and you're fine with playing a Miata. Sitting up in the dojo, locked in and engaged, playing a Ferrari all day long, your luck is bound to run out. They're going to get that Hiram. They're going to go sell pop. Are you crazy? Do you know how powerful that play is when someone can go pop, sale, pop?
So good.
It's so good, and it's so free, and it's so available, and you can't win. If they go pop, sale, pop, Hiram 2 times, happy as a clam, you're losing, Dan. I don't care what you do. I don't care what deck you're playing. I don't care what your strategy is.
You don't got to convince me. You don't got to convince me. Like,
if they go ice block, sale, ice block, Hiram, you're like, who cares? You just negged yourself $1 billion, and you still get those draws in. Happy as a clam, come back, bring back Vitalosphere. Who cares? Because now you're paying ink to trigger Vitalosphere. It's not drawing your card. You're going to run out of cards, and your engine is still going to be. It's going to be a very viable competitive strategy, but it's not going to be this ridiculous gameplay that we've been seeing facilitated by Popsicle. Hiram is a great card. You should not ban cards for being good. It's fine to have a good. I love the fact that Happy as a Clam exists because I love broken cards. I love. I'm on the other side of the spectrum. I love power creep. I
think you're good there. I think you're good there because I think that you're right. I think that Happy as a Clam and Scrooge McDuck are great cards.
Beautifully designed cards.
They are perfectly designed cards.
Yeah.
I think they are. I actually think that they are actually perfectly designed cards. I don't think Hiram is.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with Hiram. Okay. The best deck in the game to answer Hiram is Ruby Sapphire.
Yeah. True.
What other deck is answering Hiram?
None.
Like, what other deck is doing it? That's the problem.
You can storm Zeus thing, but you're not doing that on 3.
I gotta play 3 cards to get it. Like,
and you gotta have somebody to sing it. Are you kidding? No.
In the Ruby Sapphire deck in itself, there's 16 answers to Hiram that are free. They're free. So that's the problem. Is that if we just ban Popsicle, Hiram is still going to ruin everyone's day. And there's still no decks that answer him. Like, all of these decks struggle. We've now seen decks that they're putting Last Cannon in their deck just so after Hiram draws 4 cards, they can kill him. Like, guys, I love Popsicle. Here's your whole thing. Right? Your whole spiel was like, hey, I'm gonna play Popsicle. I'm going to play Sale Popsicle. All right, cool. You just played a bunch of cards that replace themselves. We're back to playing Ruby Amethyst in set 2 where I'm playing Maleficent Sorcerer and I'm playing Rabbits. Like, that's cool. I can respect this gameplay. What I can't respect the gameplay is when my rabbit, this silly little mouse drew 8 cards because I could there's just no way to answer the character.
It is absolutely repulsive. Hiram is a problem. And if Robin Burgers came out tomorrow and they say, hey guys, we're gonna give Hiram that Bucky sauce. As a Sapphire Steel enjoyer, someone who has loved Hiram since I started playing this game. When I see him, he just warms my soul. When I draw that little mouse and he's staring at me with his glasses, I'm like, dude, I love you so much, Hiram. Give him a little kiss on his head, dude. I'm a Hiram supporter. But if they say, hey, Hiram's ruining the game, he's got to go, I throw my hands up and say, hey, I'm fine with it. I'm totally fine with it.
And that's just the conversation. Here's the other thing, right? Let's just get off that real quick.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Is there anything else in the game that is that oppressive that we think needs to go? Because let's just say there's a world, right, that is Hiram.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's just say Ravensburger, they're like, I hate this. We're just gonna get rid of it. We don't want to see these games. Let's just say they did do that. In a world where they did that, does anything else need to be hit? Is there any other card in the game right now that you said, okay, if we ban Hiram, is there any other card in the game you're like, oh my god, we gotta get rid of this too? Because if we don't get rid of this too, then this is just gonna be the next problem. You think there's anything that?
In my heart, I'm tempted to say something like a Sisu, but at the same time, I've been playing TCGs for a really long time as well. Just like you, I have a lot of experience with trading card games, specifically coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, where we have this ban list model that we use, and I've typically been a fan of ban list style things for a while. But shout out to the Ravensburger team and the people who are card design. This game is actually quite balanced. I really do feel that for the most part, the power creep has been managed to a certain extent. A lot of people are still able to play a ton of set 1 cards, set 2 cards, and add in a few cards from the newest sets to change their deck. And the meta has been very solid up until this point. So I am personally not on board with a huge sweeping ban list to get rid of. Let's clear Sisu, let's clear Tamatoa, let's ban it, Lucky Don. I don't think we need to do any of that. I think we just need to identify what the issue is, and I'm sure they have people who are at the headquarters looking at all these tournament reports, and they can see all these numbers. That chart you just pulled up, and they gotta say, hey, this might be a problem. How can we fix this to just return balance? I don't think we need to cut down all the hedges. I think we just need to trim the bush a little bit. Hey, yo, no pause. You know, I'm there to trim the bush. Sorry.
You're good.
Sorry. I'm a child. Sorry.
You're good.
But yeah, it shouldn't be a complete. We're not remodeling. Let's just clean it up a little bit. And I think those little tweaks. But what could happen is that we could introduce more things that come up once we get rid of a popsicle, get rid of Hiram, and then now what's the next come on, Dick Burn, come on, man, come on.
I had to get it. We had to put that one on screen.
And Dick, I saw we had Big Durns in the ICO last night. I was hoping that evil Dick Burns didn't come back, that dastardly scoundrel, dude. Yeah. I'm watching him, dude. Keep my eye out for that guy.
Oh, that was I don't know. I worry, and here's why I worry. In all honesty, I think a lot of people, the biggest thing I've seen is like, oh, we got to get to next set. Whether or not that's true, what we have watched on stream for the last month, we have a whole other month till set champs, and I think that if we get to set champs and it is still like this position and people just feel defeated before they even walk in the door, set champs attendance is gonna be real down.
It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be real bad.
That's my real fear. My real fear is that people are just gonna like, you know what, like I just don't even want to play, you know, like it. And this is where we talked a little bit before the game, like before we started here, about like casual and competitive. It's one thing, you know, and then the next subject should be more close to the competitive side. It's one thing about if competitive players are upset. It's another thing if casual players are upset. The set champ audience is kind of like, it is competitive. We got players that want to play and express themselves there, but it is that it's that option for a more casual player that goes to lead, that just wants to show up, try and get a top 8, try and get their promo and stuff like that. Like if they go and they're looking at this stuff, and they're like, this is not fun for me. That's a real that's like a new player experience comment where like, man, I don't think we want our audience to feel that way, you know? And that at the end of the day was the Bucky, which everyone wants to just, oh man, they were so hard. Guys, Bucky was not fun to play against. Right. When a new player sat down at an event and they played against Bucky, they're like, I don't ever want to play Disney Lorcana literally ever again. And that's a hard part to drive home to these, like the very competitive echelons, because I cover a lot of tournaments. I talk to a lot of the competitive community because that's where my focus is. That's the intrigue. You want to see the best players at their best doing their best. And a lot of the competitive community is going to surround themselves with other competitive players in this competitive bubble, in the Discords, watching the tournament reports, boom, 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 boom. It's going to be that. But once you expand that bubble and you understand that the large majority of this people that play this game are not in your network or not in your bubble, who are not trying to be the next DLC champion, it's a whole, that net is the net that I'm sure that Ravensburg is trying to get more over than the small little competitive community. So when people are going to these set champs, like you said, if you have a 30-person set champ and 20 people show up playing Ruby Sapphire, that tournament will be miserable. For the small echelon of people who enjoy that, they're going to have a blast. Yeah. But people need variety, and you're going to destroy that scene. And I'm certain that they understand this. So the player experience, it's so high up, and just going to time, playing just the way the match goes. You're talking a 45-minute board clear. Oh, you got nothing. Oh, you're at 16. Guess what? You lose. Feels terrible. It feels so bad. So I'm in agreement with you 100%. I think there should be something to happen just to restore balance back to the force, just to help that larger pool of players to enjoy the game again. And you can't now where it is. I gotta today we are firing. Okay, there are, from my point of view, spread out through the 3 social platforms that we are streaming to right now, we have 173 viewers going on right now. Huge shout out to you guys. The chat has been firing so quickly that like we can't even bring them all up, right? You guys are killing it today. Seriously, if you're here, you haven't hit a like button yet, hit a like button yet. If you don't know JDZ, we're gonna get. He's the best, guys. All right, he is the absolute best.
No.
So much fun. So much. We're never gonna get through this episode because of how awesome it is.
I got only obligation I have today. If you can go, I can go. There. The only obligation I have today is that there is an LCCC. We got LCCC today. It's going to be happening. We got Moyen versus Zan Syed. I'm going to be locked in and engaged in the booth with Garrick from the Lorcana layer. So make sure you guys
pull up the stream.
Let's go. Let's go. So make sure you guys are tuned in to Garrick's Lorcana layer. I'm going to be in the dojo
we got,
with him.
The 2-0 finale to go in, right? Like it's I think it's the last game of this round.
Yeah, this should be the last game of this round. And we have Artifacts who's waiting in the winners finals, and Zan Syed and Moyen.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a grudge match. Those two have some beef there. There's a little bit of tension between.
I love a good beef.
I love a good beef.
I love a good beef.
We need a little bit more beef in Disney Lorcana on the competitive side.
No, people get really upset about it. And we get in trouble.
I mean, like a friendly beef, not like anything too over the top serious.
People still think that me and Baker hate each other. Okay,
That's fun. That was so fun. Can we bring that back? I'm a wrestling fan growing up, and I love the story, the intrigue. It just makes it so fun. Can we get that energy a little bit on the competitive scene?
I'm with you. I'm with you. So this is listen. We're not gonna even talk about the subject anymore. Okay. This came out today, okay, and this is showcasing. This is on Inkdex. I'll put the link in the description. I'll grab it real quick before we move on or whatever. But this is just showcasing how dominated Ruby Sapphire Steel. And by the way, not only is it Ruby Sapphire, but it's two versions of Sapphire Steel. Just double downing on it. How dominant Sapphire has been in the metagame. I did reach out to Inkdex. I was trying to get just so people that don't understand this thing, they don't understand. This is 6,000 matches played of tracked history through Melee GG data. Okay, this isn't just like 6,000 random games played by a couple people. Like this is 6,000 games through tournament data based on registered deck list in the events. That's a lot. That's a great amount of data in 1 month. Okay. Shout out to the thing that we can't talk about anymore. Mm-hmm. One of the best points for it was the data that was given to us by Pavel. Like that data was incredible information because we just couldn't have people, like we couldn't just have enough local game nights reporting information that we did. 6,000 matches played. It is
and it's not like you said, Dan. It's not just like some geeks off the street. This is like high level contested.
Right. This is every tournament that I've reported on over the last month. Like any of those events that delivered all of the deck list to Inkdex, and he was able to put them all in and then go through, source it out, run the Melee data. Like this is what that's the amount of effort Inkdex put in. Okay. Like huge shout to him for even getting this stuff done and everything that he does. But this is that type of data. I look at this, and the first noticeable thing here, guys, is that a lot of stuff below the first two rows there, they got red dots. Okay, yeah. There's some red dots there. The two at the top, there ain't no red dots.
Yeah.
It's the problem, guys. It's a problem.
And you have to ask yourself, like, if you're trying to win, you're going to a tournament and you're trying to win, Dan. Why would you not play one of those decks? What will encourage you to not play one of those?
I said it all the time. Listen, I got students. I do coaching. I got, we got the Metafy Discord. We got all those things that are going on. I said, listen, guys, the one thing that pains me the most in any format is when I feel obligated. Okay. Right. When as a competitive player that wants to go into a tournament and be successful, the moment that I basically feel obligated to play something, I'm against it. Like I'm just strongly against it. And right now, I don't know that I could honestly register a deck in a tournament that did not have Sapphire in it and believe for 1 second that I was doing my best effort.
There you go. And that is so unfortunate because at the same time, that's a whole level, that's a whole degree of skill expression that is now being removed. The deck building aspect and the surprise factor is just gone from the game. So now you're showing up as basically a known entity and you're putting yourself at a strategical disadvantage. And that is just so unfortunate when you have these really restricted metagame situations, man. So I think there needs to be a change. I think that is just an indicator that there is a power imbalance. And I would love to see how they they negotiate this, and hopefully they do something. And one thing I will say about the company, shout out to Robertsberger, the way they handled the Bucky situation, the way they handle some of these issues, they're super quick about it, and they are listening. They are watching these things. They are very responsive. So I imagine something will happen.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah. Oh my God, we are cooking today, JD.
Oh, we're rocking and rolling. Yo, shout out to you guys. Hey, the energy is up, man. I am in the Forbidden Mountain, the Friendship Mountain. How do you feel?
Whole coffee already, guys.
I got a little bit left, actually. I need to go get a refill. Maybe I can get production to hook it up. If production's out there watching, man, she can hook it up.
Production. Shout out to production. Shout out. I said it all weekend. Like, shout out production. Like, she's a killer, right?
Dude,
like,
and again, she could be watching this right now. I'm not sure, but all this stuff that I do, everything that we've got going on, I couldn't do it without her. You know what I'm saying? She is the wind beneath my wings. You've been married for a long time, so you know how important it is to
shout out to TFM Kylie. She's the best. Yeah. We love her.
To have some support and someone to say, hey, I'm gonna go sit in this room and talk about a Disney trading card game for the next 20 hours. Are you cool with this? Like, yeah, I'm fine with that. But my wife's a rock star, man. We've been married for a really long time. Like I said, I have been military. I'll be gone for 6 months at a time, a year at a time, and she'll just hold it down. And she's been like that for a long time. She understands my grind and my passion, and she just wants what's best for me. So I do appreciate her for that.
Goals and ambition is crazy, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Have goals, ambitions, and then your wife is like, yeah, no, go do it. Yeah. Shout out to the wife, right? Because I gotta get it right. This is a weekend, right? We're coming up SSG. Listen, I don't have to go to Southside Gaming this weekend, right? Like, you know, like I don't have to do that. It's not something that like I have to do. Is it something I want to do? Yes. Do I have 2 kids at home that I got to leave my wife with for the weekend and say like, listen, I'm going to go play Disney Lorcana. Like, are you okay with that? Like, or I'm going to go down there. I'm going to help out with the stream. I'm going to be a part of it because I love those guys at Southside Gaming. I want them to succeed. I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that atmosphere. I don't have to do that, right? Doubling down, I'm officially announcing something here. I wasn't going to do it, but we're going to do it. Okay. Set 8 is coming May 30th, right? It's coming. Set 8. You guys know we spend lots of money. All right. We got the TCG store. We got, 150 boxes coming of set 8. Okay. Well, I'm doing something special for set 8. All right. I'm going to go hang out in the UK. I'm doing the UK Gaming Expo. All right. I'm going and hanging out. I'm going to see Baker. I'm going to see Kawa. Like I'm going to enjoy the community, the content creators out there at UK Gaming Expo because I wanted to be a part of that atmosphere. I wanted to be a part of Disney Lorcana in set 8 and be there with everyone as we're getting excited, ripping packs and things like that. That is that opening weekend. But my wife is going to be here. TFM Nana is going to be here, and they're going to be opening up 150 boxes of product without me, without Scott, without the team kind of helping and doing those things. So like, I am so very excited that I can go and participate in that because I've been dying to get over there. I've been dying for an excuse and a reason to get over there and meet that community. And now we're going to do it, but I can't do that if I don't have a wife at home that's willing to help me and that's willing to say, you know what, go do it. Go get your goals. So like, huge shout out to the wives that allow us to do these things.
It's so great, man. You can't because if you didn't have her, you wouldn't be where you are right now. You'd be impossible. You literally could not be able to do it.
Literally impossible.
Can't say enough.
Literally impossible. All right, we got to move. Yeah, 100%. We got to move. We got to keep going. Chat, you guys are on fire. I promise I will get back to you. But we have so much more to talk about, and we're already an hour and 5
That's
in.
nothing. This is light work, man. This is light work. This is shout out to everyone rocking and rolling with the program. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Much love. We love you guys too.
This is the first time in a while where I'm like, man, I wish I had Stream Manager hanging out. Right? You call production. Kylie's now Stream Manager when we do the events. Like when we're hosting an event, Kylie's on Stream Manager duty. She's hitting the comments. She's keeping that conversation.
That's production. Flowing. That's you call it Stream Manager. I call it production. It's the same thing.
Stream Manager, heart and soul. Right?
The body, the actual goat, the win condition. I call it too. That's another.
Yeah, that's big bigs. But we got topic 2. Okay. Whew, man, take a breath, right?
This one's tough.
So we got cheating or mistake. Okay. Now I'm gonna give a shout out to Jeremy over on there it is, Heart and Soul, right? Heart and Soul, 100%. We got Jeremy over on X. For those of you that don't know, he's the co-host of the Club Lorcana podcast with Zam, and he's been hosting these things. I think he started the weekend after Arcasia's released and the SSG tournaments and stuff like that. He won the event, and he's been talking about different things on Spaces. And after CCS a couple weeks ago, there was 2 days worth of streaming. There was a lot of stuff that happened on stream, a lot of sketch, a lot of conversation, a lot of stuff being caught, some cheating, mistakes, whatever it might have been. And this is the topic of the conversation that I think is important to note. I am not here to call anybody a cheater today. Have I done it in the past? Absolutely. Go watch the Reclam video. I trash that guy. Chris Croy, I trash that guy. When there is literal public information of showcasing that you are a bad person for the game, I am going to be the first person to use my platform to say, I don't respect this person. I think he's awful for Disney Lorcana, and I don't want him in our space. Mm-hmm. This is not about that today, all right? This is just a conversation around the problem with cheating in Disney Lorcana and at the cost of it being considered a mistake. So in that note, right, we've seen what happened this weekend. There were some mistakes on this weekend that happened on your stream. Mm-hmm. There's stuff that happens. You got to fix it. We got to do some things, right? So in that, that space, mm-hmm. we live in a world. This is, have you been to, how many DLCs have you been to?
I went to 2. I went to DLC in Las Vegas and DLC Seattle.
Perfect. West Coast, Best Coast. Got it.
Yep.
The beginning in the player meeting. Okay. Whoever's on the mic, it's different people. Let's just say, it's when Ryan gets on the mic and Ryan mm-hmm. goes, hey, how many players in the room? This is your first card game.
I love that.
Right. And in all honesty, listen, guys, again, I've been playing card games since I was 10, 11 years old. I've been to a lot of these player meetings, a lot of these tournaments. The amount of players that raise their hand in Disney Lorcana and say, this is my first game. Honestly, it's incredible. Yeah. It's truly remarkable that they are hitting that many players. And I think because of that is the reason we have the rules that we have in the game. Okay. And the rules that we have in the game, I make this joke all the time. I actually think that it's almost impossible to get a game loss in Disney Lorcana. I actually think that you got to punch your opponent in the face to get a game loss in Disney Lorcana. And in all honesty, that might have been a warning.
It's just a warning.
So, that is the real conversation about all of these things that we are seeing on streams, because you know what? There has not been a DLC, but shout out to the grinders. Shout out to Garrick's Lair streaming 8-10 hours. Shout out to Lore 20 Pro, to the Lore Keepers In, to JDZ Quest. We are seeing a lot of Disney Lorcana on weekends, on streams, a lot of gameplay being happened. And guess what, guys? There's a lot of mistakes. There's a lot. And some of those mistakes, they are cheating. All right. Some of them are. But what the most common thing is, and everyone, listen, I love it. I love the community is willing to go to the extent to defend people. I think it's great. I really do. But in a world where it's not a mistake and it is cheating and we're trying to get away with it, there's no punishment, JD.
Yeah. There's a lot. Honestly, this conversation could be a 4-hour show, because I have so much to talk about on this entire thing around this entire subject. First, I want to make sure I'm going to double down on what you said. I'm never going to attack anyone's character or anyone's personality. And that's one thing, Dan, that I wish we would do better as a community, is that as soon as something happens and as soon as something goes up, oh, that guy's a cheater. He's a cheater. Everybody, he's a cheater. We got cheater. We got to ball a little bit.
There's a difference between cheating and being a cheater.
Right.
Most mistakes are cheating, which is
okay. I'm saying okay, but I'm saying we gotta really be cognizant of when we we were quick to label people, like you said with the Reclam thing. If there's a full-on investigation, we've talked to judges, we've done our due diligence, and then someone gets that label, then fine. That is where it is. But we cannot be quick to put labels on someone, especially when it comes to their character or their integrity, because that lasts and it can affect someone's personality. And if they are someone who's genuinely making a mistake, or someone is nervous, or someone is having a bad day, or someone's fatigued, or someone is not feeling well, and they make these mistakes, I'm like, oh, that guy is a cheater. Mm-hmm. Then it's going to be hard to get that off. And that's going to start to cause another issue.
Yeah, which honestly, shout out to Hector. Because he came on, he tried to defend himself in a space, the same space that I just put up. And I don't know, he came out at the end of it saying, I don't even know if I want to be a part You know, like I don't know if
yeah.
I can redeem myself.
And that's something I will say about Zan. Again, as you guys know, I've had Zan come by my YouTube channel. I watch every episode of the Club Lorcana podcast. I'm a huge fan of Zan Zayed. I'm a stan, if you would, stan of Zan, and I respect him and his career and what he's done as a player to get to the point where he is. And he is a phenomenal Lorcana player, phenomenal trading card game player. You can't take that away from him at all. But when you do sign up to say, I want to have a podcast or I want to be a content creator and I want to join media, you now have an additional responsibility beyond being just a player. So I think you have to manage your emotions even more, because you can tell he was clearly upset. He was clearly affected, and he has to put that to the side and say, hey, I can't, you can't say whatever you want, because you have an impact, you have an influence, you are media now, and you have to be responsible with that. And I think, in my opinion, I do think he did not handle it the best way.
Yeah,
I will say that.
Yeah,
but
and I'm going to double down.
Yeah,
I think the way it was done was wrong.
Right,
100%.
right. But at the same time, he's a
down.
human. He's a human being, and if you feel like you've been cheated, what are you supposed to do? Like, as a human, if he didn't have that social platform, if he didn't have the podcast, if he didn't have the huge Twitch following, if he didn't have the influence that he had, and he came out and made that tweet or made those comments, it wouldn't matter, because it's just someone who is acting as themselves, and it is, who cares? But when you have to look at yourself and who you are and the platform that you have, and you have to be very responsible with your words. And I'm not saying you have to go through a PR team to get these messages out, but that's why companies do that. That's why these professional basketball players have to do that, because you have to understand that your words have impact, and you can negatively affect people, even if you are the one that could have potentially have been wrong. I personally do feel that the way that the rules are written, I don't agree with them at all. I do feel that he was wrong, but how he handled it in the aftermath, I think was a bit incorrect, in my opinion. But that's just me.
And this is where it's like as negative as I believe how it was handled and how he did it. I still think it's important that it happened.
Absolutely.
And the reason I say that is because, oh God, I hate Twitter. I've said it a couple times already. But some of the responses to it are also unbelievably terrible conversation takes. And I mean the worst opinions ever.
Twitter is a desolate hellscape. I mean, I just got on Twitter just because I'm trying to do this content creator thing, and you have to be on Twitter. I get on there and I need to get off of this thing as soon as I possibly can, because it is just so bad. I hate it.
There's so much bait that it's it's impossible to have. Normally when I get into it, my next response was Twitter is not the place to have this conversation. Like, you want to have a conversation, you hit me up. All right, you can find me. I promise, I'm everywhere. It is. I am not a hard person to find.
Yeah.
So there are the takes of, oh well, it's the rules. It's like, okay, well, if you're making that comment, you don't understand what the conversation is. The conversation is the rules are bad.
Right.
The conversation is, in every world where this is a mistake, right? In every world, this is a mistake.
Right.
What you need to understand is that people that do cheat and people that are cheaters are literally using you guys as a shield.
Right.
They're literally like, oh yes, I'm going to have people that come to my defense. And I'm not calling any of these players cheaters. I'm not doing that. But what I'm telling you is that the people that are cheating, the people that are getting away with it, they're going to listen. I have a firm belief that karma is everything, and they're going to get theirs. I got a firm belief of that. There'll be a day where they're going to get theirs, but they get to utilize the community that is so quick to defend the players that are making mistakes, because they're like, oh, wait, I have that shield. But the reason that everybody gets away with it is the rule book.
Right.
That's the problem.
And that is something that again, I'm not trying to defame Zan at all. I cannot stress enough how much of a fan of him that I am, and a supporter of him. This just as a point of, in the future, hypothetically speaking, had Zan came out and said, hey guys, out here in Zan World on the podcast, look, I went out to this tournament and here's what happened. I feel like I feel like this wasn't correct. And I wish that there would be something that could be done to fix these rules, because I've been playing trading card games for the past 20, 30 years, and I've never seen anything like this transpire. And I feel like I was wrong, man. So whatever I can do to help maybe talk to the judge community or the rules advice community, I have so much experience in these card games. We got to clean this up, because if you do this, you're opening up loopholes for people to exploit. And I'm telling you right now, these loopholes will be exploited in any competitive fashion. They already are being exploited. Like, what is stopping me right now? If I'm a ne'er-do-well, if I'm someone who has a bad intention, what's stopping me from drawing 9 on my whole new world right now? Literally nothing. I would do it. Like, you might as well change the way the card is printed, because if the only thing stopping me from doing it is you catching me, and then when I get caught, nothing happens. Why don't I just do it?
That's it. And that's the conversation.
Why don't I just do it?
When it is so easily to break the integrity of every game that you play, and it is so, and I mean, listen, I know there's, again, I'll go back to that new player thing, right?
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of new players that have never played a card game before. I know there is in this, even in this chat right now. It is so easy for people that want to do it, that people are committed to do it, the people that do not have integrity. It is so easy to cheat. It is incredibly easy. If you want to do it, it is a skill. If you want to do it, you can do it. And that is the problem with the game, is that right now you can walk into a tournament on day one. This is not a joke, guys. This is not a joke. All right. Listen to me. If you're going to take anything away from this conversation, listen to this conversation. On day one, you can get 2 warnings for drawing extra cards, for doing any infraction in Disney Lorcana in the rulebook. You can get 2 warnings on day one and be clean. No game loss, no nothing. When day 2 starts, if you were a player that got 2 warnings on day 1 for drawing extra card, whatever you did of that day to make that, if you start day 2 and you're in top 64, guess what, guys?
Clean.
You're clean.
Ridiculous.
You literally get to do it again.
Crazy.
Okay? That is a problem. It is an absolute problem, because these players that are playing against people, they're playing against people literally like you that are not paying attention.
Right.
They are
and
getting away with it.
And to piggyback on that, this happened to Zan live on stream. Okay. And Zan has that experience because he's caught cheaters in the past. And he has a high, he has
a professional.
That is something that I always admire when I see someone who is a very strong trading card game player that takes years of experience to develop. You have to have a presence. You have to have table etiquette. You have to understand how to defend yourself against those things. These new players don't have that. It takes a long time to develop those skills. So when Zan is like, hey, this happened, I caught him, boom. Boom. Everybody's not going to be able to catch that happening. Especially if you've been crafting, you've trained on your ability to cheat. It's very difficult to catch someone in the act of doing it. And there's so many things that you have to look out for. And, so I don't know. It's just really poor, man.
Before we went on the stream, I told you about a story that happened to me in round 3 of DLC Atlanta. Like, I am, again, 10, 11 years old, playing cards my whole life. A player cheated against me in the tournament, and I completely missed it until he tried to cheat the second time.
Yeah.
Literally, he completely got away with the first one. Literally completely got away with it. And it wasn't until the second time that he tried to get me that I'm like, wait a minute, something's wrong. And guess what, guys? That guy, he only got a warning.
and that's that. I honestly think that the rules there should be a ruling update. There should be a ruling change on those types of things, or you could just leave it more open ended and empower your judges to make more of these streamlined assessments. That could be a way to do it, because I don't want to keep beating up on Zan. I really don't. Again, incredible player. I think he did everything correct. I just wish he would have just handled it slightly different. No big deal. But also, I'm not letting Hector off the leash.
No,
here.
I'm not either. And I
think he made a mistake. And we did talk about this before you start recording. Is that I would have loved to see Hector, after that whole thing transpired and all the judges were called and the appeals went through. I would have loved to see Hector, raise his hand and say, "Hey guys, I fumbled the bag on this one. Hey, you know what, Judge? I ruined this game. I got caught. I messed up. I'm tired. I haven't been sleeping well. I don't know what I don't know what I was thinking. I made a huge mistake. Give me that game loss. I'll eat that. Let's just go next.
Every excuse sucks, right?
It doesn't matter what the excuse is. Yeah.
But And I think, and to Zan's credit here, I think that what is the most fair is that Zan said if his opponent had called the judge, if he was the person, if he was the one that caught himself in the moment and said, I messed up, I will call the judge. I don't think I think we barely have a conversation. I think it doesn't even go anywhere. But it's because his opponent did not do that. Like we talk about vibes, like Zan said, like my opponent did not give me a vibe of someone that felt bad about making a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a huge thing too. That is a huge thing.
Vibes, energy.
If you give up the vibe of saying like, nah, we're good here and I know I'm going to get away with it.
That's
like,
crazy.
If that's the vibe you're giving away.
Oh no, we got to push.
Like then you're setting that tone, and that's also a problem. So,
right. But I got something. I see a chat coming in. I do see the chat over here. Yo, somebody Ant's roasting my chest. I hate that, but I'm gonna go to TPC here, that one. And it says no one is going to go against a judge ruling and concede. It would have made him look worse. I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that at all, because I'll tell you why. I do have a little anecdote, and I did mention this in the Quest World streams and on my own publications multiple times about an experience that happened to me in my own Lorcana journey. Okay, I'm playing in a 1K tournament. Okay, I'm down there and I'm doing my thing, and this is on the bubble. This is a very important game 3. Win, go in, lose, go home type beat, and we're at time and we're playing very quick in my own game. Okay, I'm doing my thing. It's a very, very grindy game. We got about 4 minutes left in the tournament. Sorry, Dan, I'm just dropping the story in here. I go to play. I'm playing Ruby Sapphire at the time, and I play Develop Your Brain. Okay, super quick. Didn't think about it. I drew 2 cards, add them to my hand, shuffled them together. And I'm like, oh man, I just messed up. I did not resolve that card correctly. Develop Your Brain doesn't work like that. Call the judge. Opponent called the judge. We're just like, okay, hey judge, this is what happened. I made a mistake. I was going too fast. I drew cards, add them to my hand. How can we fix this? And the judge says, oh man, they look around and they talk to each other. And they're like, all right, here's what we're going to do. You're going to take 1 random card from your hand, put it into your deck, or take 2 cards from your hand, put them into your deck, and then resolve Develop Your Brain. I was like, and my opponent was like kind of pissed, rightfully so, because it was a super grindy game. He's like, oh man, that doesn't seem fair. That doesn't seem fair. And I was like, you know what, judge, that doesn't seem fair. I agree with him. Give me the game lost. I'll take it. This is game 3. I'm out. I'm like, I'm done. I'll lose the tournament. I'll be out of the tournament. You can go on to the top 8, because I don't want, if I do come back and win, that's going to be the story, because now I cheated and I didn't play the game correctly. I'm the one who made that mistake. I'm the one that broke the game. He didn't do anything wrong. It was me. So yeah, give me the game loss. I'll eat it.
To clarify, you did not get a game loss. You conceded.
I conceded. Oh, I conceded. Oh yeah, there was not a game loss.
You were never going to get a game loss. And this is also the instance. This is it. This is the whole conversation. You were not a cheater. You made a mistake, but you knew that mistake was cheating.
It was cheating. It was just because just because it happened on an accident, just because it was a mistake, doesn't rectify the fact that it is cheating. Okay, because I got information that I should not have had. Okay, so that is me breaking the game, breaking the rules of the game, and I have to take responsibility for that. So that's why I was like, okay, fine, I will concede this game because this is unfair. And that was in that moment where I could have said, hey, judge, you're right, and do the whole thing, went back and won. And now my integrity is on the chopping block. And my integrity is worth so much more than a 1K event or a box or a Golden Mickey or any of that. Because if I can't do it clean and fair the right way, then I don't want to do it at all. And that's just how I live. So I would have loved to seen Hector come out with that and say, hey, I messed this up. Let's go to the game 2. Because that was only game 1 anyway.
Yeah,
that was only game 1. Just say, hey, I did this. I ruined it. I messed it up. I'm under these bright lights. I'm playing against the game's best player. We got the stream going. I'm tired. These people are walking around. Everyone's gathering around this table. This is just a lot of pressure. I'm not built for this right now. I made a mistake. I got nervous. Hey, you know what? Let's just chalk it up. Let's just go next.
Sure.
And be done with it. And if that happens, Dan, we're not even having this conversation.
No, we literally never have the conversation.
And everybody's fine. I think that's the way that should happen. It should be accountability first as the individual, and that just didn't happen on Hector's part, and I'll have to hold him accountable for that.
That's kind of the end all be all here, right? I think I think the rules are lenient. I think they're too nice. I think they're too cute. And we're gonna talk about this in the next segment here, but like in Disney Lorcana, there needs to be a level of play expression, and in those level of play expressions, there should be an honest different rule set. Shout out to Dick. He talks about it all the time. There is competitive and then there is professional. And for us, competitive can be, a set championship. But when you talk about DLCs and we're talking about playing, I make the joke all the time, they're playing for $10 because that's the paper they make you sign when you win something. Like you won $10 of paper, right? But we're not talking. We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars in prizes. Yeah. And when you're playing for those things, you got to learn. There has to be a level. There has to be a mistake button that is not just a warning. Right. For some of these things that cannot be fixed, that cannot be replaced. And in a lot of instances, that's what it is. And it is impossible to improve intent. It's impossible to actually prove intent whether or not in most cases.
You literally cannot.
Because the truth is, and I say this all the time, there's 3 sides to every story. My side, your side, the truth. And when a judge comes over to the table, it's impossible to actually get the truth. So like the rules are so misguiding to judges that they can never actually judge on intent. It's not possible. So like, as much as people want to hate on judges, and much as people want to hate on Zan for bringing attention to it, like the real truth is at the end of the day, we just want a rule set that we can actually not even use intent.
Yeah.
We want a rules guide that says like, hey, a player can't just get away with this all the time. Like, hey, if there's a mistake at the level of play, like if you show up to a league night and you make this mistake, there's a difference between doing it at league and doing it at Disney Lorcana challenge. Like, there just needs to be layers to the rule book.
And at the same time, I don't want this thing, because on the inverse of that, in this wacky, bizarro world that we live in, that also can be abused as well. And I don't want that to happen. I don't, it's got to be a balance. I don't want a slippery slope type situation where, oh man, my opponent drew 8 cards. Let me let him end his turn so I can now call the judge and get him a game loss. Let me just wait.
Yeah.
That you don't want people to abusing.
I don't want that either.
Yeah, I don't want that either. Or like, he didn't. Hey, look, hey judge, he didn't put damage on me. Game loss, I win, kind of thing. That kind of stuff. There has to be a balance, and I think the issue.
I just want to let you know. I'm telling you right now. Any one of my opponents ever does that, for this point forward, you are a bag. Like if I forget to put a damage on Smee and you're calling judges to get game losses, you're a bag.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there has to be a fine balance of it. And we were talking about that earlier between, hey, whose job is it to maintain the game state? It's both players. But if I'm sitting there, hey man, you got to make that trigger. Hey, you got to gain your lure off your location. Hey, you got to make sure you do this. Hey, I'm playing both of our games, and that could be a strategy that people. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just let my opponent do this until they get double fatigued. I mean, people are going to take every single advantage that they possibly can to try to win. And that is so unfortunate, because the honor and the integrity and the sportsmanship kind of goes to the wayside in favor of, I need to win a game. And that is the part we need to get back to. We need to make sure integrity is a part of it. Honor is a part of it. And having good, clean sportsmanship is a part of it first. And you can't really teach that. So your rules have to be able to balance out other people's lack of integrity. And people are always going to try to find a way to get as close to those rules and skirt those rules to gain whatever competitive edge that they can find, which is kind of repulsive in my opinion.
Unfortunately, there's several different types of players in this world. There's players that want to play for the glory and get there in the integrative way. And then there's players that only care about the winnings and they don't care how to get them. And they don't believe in karma. They don't believe that they're ever going to be caught. There will come a day where, like, I pray, I really do, that some of these players get caught and some of these players do get, like, they're going to get this treatment that Hector might not even deserved.
Right.
Honestly, because like that's the real truth here, is that Hector, it could have been a mistake. 100% could have been a mistake. No, there's no debating whether or not it could have been a mistake, because it could have been. In all these cases, it can be. But there are certainly players out there that it's not a mistake, and they know that it's not a mistake.
And honestly, like I even all the negative energy that Hector did receive, I don't think that's the right way to handle it at all. Like, if people are sliding into his DMs, or people are adding him on Twitter or comment at him on different platforms on these comment sections and things like that, that's absolutely deplorable as well. Like even people like Chris Croy and Reclint, like if people are sliding into their DMs talking about how bad they are and this should happen to them, and that's also unhinged. Okay, that is not the way that should happen either. I don't care what anyone does. If you are going to get onto someone's social media and tag them or something, you got your own problems you need to work out. Just because someone is unscrupulous or someone makes a mistake or someone is allured by the intrigue of having a goal to make you or winning the thing and they violate their own integrity, that's not for you to come in there and further lambast them. We're not doing that either. That's also insane.
Not swearing any oaths, you know. Like, people still lie on the stand. So, you know, like it's we can talk again. We can talk about this for 4 hours, like you said.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
We'll bury it. Listen, guys, the VOD's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on Twitch. You guys can go back, watch it whenever you guys want. It's there forever. In all honesty, this is the type of content that like gets broken up and reutilized, and because JDZ is on fire, guys.
No, dude, I'm sorry. No.
This is on fire. In a good way. We're talking about a good way, bro. In a good way.
I love this community. I love this trading card game with all of my heart. Okay, you don't understand how much Lorcana has meant to me since I jumped in. TCGs plus Disney. This is literally everything I could have ever dreamed to be a part of. And this community is so great. And the only thing I want is for this thing to be as good and as pure and as clean as it possibly can be. And anytime I can give any type of influence to make that happen, sign me up. I'm going to do that. So there you go.
Tough. To full circle it, in the end, is like Zan has the platform to have the conversation, and it's why everyone's talking about it. And while I don't agree with how Zan did it, I do agree with the fact that he did something.
Yeah,
and that's
for sure.
Real. That's all this is
to get the ball rolling. I do appreciate that.
These conversations, they got to happen. The community has to be aware of this. And in all honesty, Ravensburger is listening, right? They want to hear the feedback. They want to read the chat, right? Like the chat's there. They can see the conversations there. They can hear what we're talking about. In order for them to best move this game forward, because listen, guys, we're in it for the long haul. Okay. JD and I, we're here. Okay. We're here because we love it. We're here because we want it to be successful. And we're having the conversations to ensure that it is aware that there are conversations being happened at RB, at RB headquarters and things like that, because it's important that the game does get as healthy as possible. And they are able to take everyone's comments, everyone's look at it, and make their best choice of how they move the game forward. That's where I'm at,
Absolutely. And I will say one more time that if Zan is watching this in the future, if he gets this if this comes across his feed and he's like, oh man, this JDZ guy, he's dead to me. I want to reemphasize that I'm such a fan of Zan. I was on Zan Cam on Sunday on the 20 Lore Pro stream. Shout out to
for a couple hours.
For a couple hours, he was there. And if you guys didn't know, he got 2-0'd by Little Caesars, apparently. I mean, he was very sick. He had a stomach bug there, and he was under having severe illness, and he still showed up to the event, and he still sat down on the camera, and he still tried super hard to play these games. And you can just see people were still coming up to him, and he was like signing cards. He was being super cordial, still as a true professional. I mean, people idolize him, and if he's not feeling well, hey Zan, you got to get on the camera anyway. And he still got up there and tried his best to make it happen. And I can't appreciate him enough for that and what he does for the community. It was Buffalo Wild Wings. He got 2-0 by Salad.
Christian was on the ground. I'm taking this as like gospel. Like this is it. Christian was there. I believe him from now on. He just told everyone Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, I heard the whole world-class cards organization got completely annihilated by that Buffalo Wild Wing meta down there. Whatever they were cooking, Buffalo Wild Wing was deep into the sapphire cook. They got him bad. But
I've had some conversations. First of all, Zan knows I've had Zan on the channel. We've had conversations. I talk to Zan, whenever I think it's important that I got to go and ask a question, have a conversation. I do those things. Zan knows. If he wants to talk, he can talk to me. Okay. I'm not hating on Zan whatsoever. I think the conversation had to happen, and if he believes that the way he did it is correct, I can respect that too.
Right.
Because you know what? He was put in a position where he was not comfortable and he felt bad about it, and he's like, no, like I need to have this and I need to present it the way I do, because I think that people need to understand that you just can't expect to do whatever. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Cheating sucks, and I'm glad we can have a conversation about it, because at the end of the day, I think the rule book of this game sucks.
Right.
I think the judges are consistently put in positions that are unfair.
So bad. And
so that's all I want. All I want is the rule book to be better clarified. That's all
I love that take. I love that take, because I love this judge community. Judge Phil, Speedy, was it Googly Glimmers, freaking everyone. I'm missing I'm missing Leo. I'm missing a ton of judges, and shout out to all the judges. And it's like because people don't understand how the judge system works. I've been a tournament organizer for multiple events, and your judges have a book that they have to look at and read and learn, and they have to judge based on the rules of the game. They can't go off script and just make up their own rules. They can't do that. That is against that'll be the Wild West as well. So when you say, hey, here are the rules, here's what I got to do,
right,
then that's it. And people say, oh, these judges suck, I hate the judges. Dude, they're just going by the rules that they have. And I think that's so unfair when people come at these judges. So I really wish we wouldn't do that. And if you don't like the rules, make sure you get into these forums in a positive and peaceful manner. And if you get a community and you make enough noise in the appropriate way and say, hey, here are all the rules I don't like, and here's the rules that we could have to make it better, people can work with that instead of just grabbing your pitchfork and just being pissed and just making a bunch of noise. It just doesn't.
You know that me and JD are professionals. We both have a notepad on the table, guys. All right, notepad and pen on table all times.
At all times, baby. We got sorry.
Professionals. Professionals.
There you go. Sorry.
I had to break it. I'm sorry. I had to do it.
You're good. Okay. Again, we can do 4. I can do 4 hours on this. Okay.
Chat,
alone.
You guys are on fire. I'm not ignoring you. All right. We're not ignoring you. There's a lot going on. And you know what? This sucks. I was actually going to point this out. He was an absolute. That's not true. He was very sick though in Seattle. I literally, I watched him play a game and mid game, he's like, whoop. And he just, that's bro. It ain't fun. All right. Sometimes it ain't fun. And that's the problem, right? Yeah. You travel across the world, you go to participate in these events, and when shit it sucks. So let's be honest here, guys. If you're not feeling well, you're probably not the best person either. All right. You
gotta start loading some Imodium, dude. You're getting cooked by that salmonella meta. You're getting cooked by that undercooked meat meta. You gotta load some Imodium. You better load some I don't know, man, some little bit of Pepto Bismol. I keep saying Bimzol. My kid's been saying Pepto Bimzol for years. She still says it. So I'm Pepto Bismol. Put Brayden, that locked in.
Brayden, you're not ignored. There's a lot of chat from everywhere. I promise you. You might be cooking on YouTube. Twitch is also cooking. I'm not ignoring anyone in particular. I promise.
Hey, we're rocking and rolling, man. We're rocking and rolling. These are the topics that people want to hear about. Okay, we're coming to you here. We got the coffee. I'm out of coffee. But
I'm out of coffee too. I know it's really upsetting. No, I wish I had more. It was very good. But seriously, last couple of weeks we've had, we've had people, and this is listen, break the barrier down. There's a forum that I put up in the forum and said, hey guys, Tuesday mornings I'm going to be streaming. I'm looking for company, right? A couple people reach out to me. They're like, I want to do it. I want to be a part of it. And I'm like, all right, listen, I want to talk about stuff that I don't have all the information for. And I want to do some different stuff. I want to put some awareness out there for some different things. We covered Gamma. We did some off meta decks. We did stuff like that. Mm-hmm. There's a video coming out tomorrow that's on a whole other subject that no one in gaming is talking about. That was important to me. Today, I listened to JDZ a lot. I watch, JDZ's everywhere, guys. If you don't know who this guy is, you are missing out.
And I don't want to burn people out on, but I'm just, I love it. I'm so passionate about it.
I hear all the time that there's, it's so hilarious, right? Because it's true, right? There's not enough content for Disney Lorcana, guys. There's not. It's a fact. Okay. There is not actually enough. People are like, oh, there's too many content. No, there isn't. We have so much space. If I wake up one morning, okay, and I do my very best on the Forbidden Mountain YouTube channel, which many people are watching right now, I do my best to subscribe to literally every content creator that exists. And if there is ever a morning that I go on and I go to that subscription tab, which nobody uses anymore because YouTube does not feature it in any good way. Mm-hmm. I'm a content creator. I know these things. Trust me. You go to this page and he looks and sees views from subscription and it's 8%.
Okay? 10 maybe. Yeah.
I do it on purpose because I want to go. I'm going to log in the morning. I want to hit that subscription tab. I want to see what's there. And I'm telling you guys, there are days there is no content. Okay.
Yeah.
That means there is not enough content creators in Disney Lorcana. Fact. Okay. Fact.
And I'll raise you there. I'll raise you there because I'm trying to go in on this Twitch thing. I think Twitch is cool. I just started Twitch. Every morning I wake up, I turn on my Twitch and I get on to the categories. I pull up Disney Lorcana, the very first one. That bad boy will be 0. It'll be like 1. It'll be like 5. And I'm like, dude, no one's talking about it. No one's on Twitch twitching it.
So
it does. So we don't have a client. I get it. It's more of a gaming thing.
The moment, listen, you weren't here for you weren't there for part of the time of when that existed, and there were people, and even then, even though it existed, it was not official. And honestly, at the heyday, right at the heyday of it, there was no Disney Lorcana category on Twitch.
Okay.
So like you, even if it did exist, you had to like know where to find it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a firm believer that if we do get official client, I'm gonna wish it existed when we get
there it is. I like that.
That category will never be 0. Okay. We will have people that are on there grinding every single day. Guess what? I'm gonna be one of them.
Me too.
You're gonna be one of them, right?
I'll be there.
We'll be there, trust me. So yeah, I agree with you. There's definitely some space to be open, and I saw that. That's why I said, you know what? Tuesday mornings we're gonna come out. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna hang out with community. We're gonna have these chats. We're gonna bring people on. But my full circle back to this is when it came to JDZ didn't need to bring anything special to the table. I've been listening to this guy for weeks talking about these things, and I'm like, you know what? I want to vibe. I want to have those. You know,
the energy is there. If your frequency is aligned, if your harmonic resonance is there, if you have the core, if you're ready to put your seat back up, okay, if you're ready to stow your tray table and turn your cell phones into the airplane mode, we can take this thing off to 40, 50,000 feet. Easy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We can get it going. I don't mind at any time. Yeah. So I'm loving the energy. I love being here. I love not doing the production work. I like just being here and just getting into my zone. I could just sit in Dan's dojo instead of my own dojo. My encoder cannot handle it. So I'm glad I'm on your encoder. I don't have to dump the thing, purge the systems, anything like that.
Your encoder had lots of.
Man, we're not going to talk about that.
We're on the struggle bus.
We're gonna
vibrate. What we are going to talk about is a subject that you and I actually disagree on.
Okay, I love this.
All right, I think everything to this point we pretty much agree for the most part that it has to. This one, I think you're wrong.
Okay,
but we're going to talk about it. Okay, so we got intentional draws. Okay. So intentional draws, and these for everyone here looking. Maybe if someone follows the metagame like I do, they might know where these are from. People in the chat might know where these are from. There might be some people in the chat that their name is on display right now. They're like, whoa, what the hell is that from? So this is DLC Seattle, the final round of DLC Seattle, and the final round of a local tournament, the Encounter Comics and Games. Shout out to Encounter Comic Game. Honestly, sponsor of TFM. If we're being completely honest, they should be on the jersey. These are 2 tournaments locally that are not locally, but that, you know, this happens at DLCs. This happens at local events. And I'm going to give you your space so you can talk what you believe is or is not incorrect with intentional draws.
Okay.
So I want to go to you. I'm going to give you the floor first. And I'm honestly, here's what I'm going to do in this part of it. I am going to rebuttal every single thing you say.
Okay.
I'm gonna make you angry. All right.
Let me set my premise. Okay. I got the floor. Okay. Okay, guys. You're tuned in. Greetings and salutations to me, your boy JDZ, and I'm back at you again. I'm on the Spit Mountain. No kidding. Here's my take. Okay. First of all, let's lay the foundation of the entire issue at hand. Okay. First off, as I've clearly stated here, since I've been in the Forbidden Mountain, again, shout out to Dan for letting me share this platform and get these words out there. I feel that there should be a clear and concise distinction between highly contested competitive play and recreational play, okay, and local play and casual level play, because both are needed in order to grow and sustain this great game that we play. Okay, on the local and casual level, there should not be any intentional drawing, because you need people playing, and there needs to be a winner and there needs to be a loser. On the highly contested competitive field, when you have a 9-round, 10, 12 round of Swiss, yeah, let's get some draws in because you deserve it. You worked hard for it. You got to that position. You should draw. And another thing, first, let me lay my other foundation for my own internal beliefs. Okay, as an American, okay, I am an American and I'm proud of my Americanness. All right. I don't want no draws, okay, at all. I'm watching National Football League. You need to have a winner. There needs to be some sudden death. There needs to be some intrigue, okay? If you like your football, if you like your soccer, whatever, yeah, go and take your draws. Leave your 1-1. That just feels so miserable. You go to a tournament and you just go draw all the way down to the end. What did you even go there for? What was the point? I hate the fact that there are draws. What are we talking about? Intentional draw? You're talking, I'm gonna go there and I'm going to draw on purpose. That is the silliest thing. I'm coming from a Yu-Gi-Oh background now. We don't do that. We go to sudden death. Sudden death is literally in the freaking rule books of what is determined. What the nomenclature is. Death is in there suddenly, which is the worst kind of death that you could possibly have. Is immediate and sudden death.
I didn't even break up. I'm like, bro, like we got
it's a sudden death. So you're talking about you're going to go in with the, like in baseball, I hate the intentional walk. I think that's very dumb. And in Lorcana, I hate the intentional draw. I think that's very dumb. In a competitive echelon, it should exist because of the length of the tournament. But on the local scene, I hate it. Sorry, Dan. I'll bounce back to you. I'll shut up and I'll wait for your rebuttal and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
All right. I gotta start one question before we continue here.
Okay.
Based on everything you just said, what is your immediate feeling when I say 2-game format?
2-game format. In my own assessment, worst possible thing. I'd rather have a 1-game format.
All right, cool. We're good.
Worst thing. There needs to be, if you are going to have a 2-game format at DLCs, if that's what it's going to be, that's fine. Because again, I'm gonna rant. Let me rant one more time. Give me one more time to rant. Okay, let me rant because when I first engaged in Digital Lorcana and I first played a 2-game format, I thought it was the dumbest thing ever. But when someone who has some, a little bit more experience, they sat me down and said, "Hey, this is why it's important," and they converted me. I understand why we need a 2-game format because these venues are incredibly expensive and a 3-game format would take a tremendous amount of time and it's a long tournament. Let's speed it up a little bit. And also it's a skill expression thing. If you can be the one that gets those 2 O's, that means that you are a better player than most of the people. If you're taking 0-2 losses, then you are probably worse. And that is just how it is. So as a skill expression thing to win those 2-game formats, then I get it. It's good. But again, that's on the DLC. If I go to a set championship, and we got 9 Muldoons in the dojo, and you're talking about a 2-game format, I'm gonna smack everybody in the venue right across the face. I'm like, what are we talking about? I'm smacking every TO and judge in the venue. I'm like, stop it. Let's lock in. We got 9 Muldoons in the dojo. We got 12 Muldoons in the dojo, and you're talking about a 2-game format. I'm smacking everybody. We're not doing it, okay? Because this tournament's gonna last 5 hours. Let's play 3 games and let's get it right. And we're not drawing. That's it.
All right.
That's it. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
I just want to start with the last 4 minutes of JDZ had been phenomenal. Okay? I want to start with that. Okay. Now, my turn.
Okay.
So ready? We just talked about 2 separate things, but you allowed my rebuttal to work in both of them, which is phenomenal. Okay.
All right.
You believe that there should be a difference in this fashion of a set championship to a DLC, okay?
Yes.
So in set championships, there should be no IDs. There should be no 2-game format, right? All right, cool. Here's my rebuttal. A person that goes to league every single week, right? When they show up to set championships, that is the next level, right? We can agree that league, most casual format, set championships, step above league, DLCs, step above set championships, correct?
Can I just add one caveat there?
Go for it.
I think that to say that as a step 1, 2, 3, I think I think that's a little disingenuous. I think it's like 1, 2, 10. Okay, there should be more tournaments in between a DLC and a set champ.
Well, we don't have that.
We don't have that. I mean, we do have the third. We have the CCS. We have the SSG.
No.
We have those regional things. I'm just saying, like, not
They're
officially
the same thing as a DLC.
Those are. I think I personally would feel that a CCS
wise DLC is worth more,
right?
But they're the same level.
But I'm saying I would put them slightly below just because of attendance and limitations there. I would say that.
But if the rules of when DLCs came out, they were only 512 players, right? Like,
but those in terms of like the rules that you should follow, those would be above a set champ. Like if I sit down at a Charlie collectible or if I sit down at a Southside gaming event and my opponent's trying to do all these take, I'm locked in, laser folks. I'm in the dojo. We're in combat.
I think they're the same. I think they're the same, and you're like
I'm saying like in terms of how you carry it. I think a set champ. I think so. You're trying to say that. A set champ is below a CCS And the CCS is, in my opinion, below a DLC.
I don't
in that middle.
In terms of competition, I don't think
no,
so.
not in terms of competition, just in terms of
I mean, like in terms of rules, all of these, if there were actual like different sets of rules, I believe that CCS would follow the same rules as DLC.
Okay. I can respect that. I can respect
that. I think if you're talking about
if there were to be a split, I would assume that the CCS model or the Southside Gaming model or the Invitational or the whatever or the West Coast or the West Coast Custom, the World Class cards, they would side on the DLC side for sure. I do agree with that. So as a beyond casual, beyond social, this is a highly contested competitive event.
Right.
Store set championships are not, in my opinion.
Right. But in my humble opinion, if you do what you want to do, you are setting every single player up for failure.
Okay, I like this.
And this is why. Because the league game is your fun, casual night. You go, you hang out with your friends. You don't really care what's going on. Set championships, we're playing for stakes. It might be low stakes, right? It might be very, very low stakes. Now in set 1 or in set 4, it was not low stakes. We're playing literally $500,000 matches in top 8 for a stitch and a playmat, right? But in most cases, set championships at this point is the first indication for new players to be introduced into the competitive scene. If you have a different rule set for that level, that means the moment they get to a DLC, you have set them up for failure.
Okay, I'll let you cook, but I got a rebuttal. I got a rebuttal loaded. Go ahead.
If we go in and we say, no draws, right? If we say no draws here, but then they get into a set championship, they go to the DLC, they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to my first DLC, and all of a sudden they're at the top tables and they're grinding to get into those events, and they're at like table 18, and every table around them drew, and their opponent sits down and goes to draw, and you're like, well, we're not allowed to draw. Like, if they don't know, right? Like, if they don't know because you set them up to not know or not understand the system, that's a problem. This is actually proof that this is true, because in Atlanta, DLC Atlanta, DLC Chicago, 44 points was good enough to get into a top 64 of DLCs. The more that we went on, 44 points was no longer. It was, in some cases, it was not even, it was good enough to get a let it go for 128, but it became like 45 is the norm, because more players realize that, we get to a certain point, we got to draw. We got to lock in. We got to get to day 2. If you sell people at a base floor, if you set them up in this position where they're like, oh, we're not allowed to, then you're already telling them like this is a bad thing for the game. And your conversation of like, this is it. Like, this is certain players, like the highest that they're going to play in, then my immediate rebuttal to that is they're not the audience for this anyway.
I have several rebuttals for that. And if that were the case, if there were there would have to be a document, there would have to be a rule book, and you would have to standardize, because even right now to this day, whenever set champ season goes around, I travel all over my region. I try to attend as many as I can because I want to support as many local game stores as I can. I'm all about meeting the community. I don't care about winning. I don't care about the losing. I love to engage with people, and I love to just have fun playing the trading card game that I love.
Sure.
Every single set champ that I go to, they have a different rule set. Some are playing 2 games, some are playing 3 games, some are playing. That's a whole other problem. If there needs to be a black and white, this is how it goes for this DLC. This is how it goes for this. And to your point, and I don't agree with this personally, but at the national tournament, okay, they sat down at that players meeting right before it started. I don't agree with this at all. This is wrong. They were like, "Hey, there will be no IDs."
Yeah,
I love the tenacity. I love the energy.
Yeah,
hate the execution. Because people have already built their decks and trained and designed their thing for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and you get right to the dojo and you're going to change the rules. You can't do that. Okay, I don't like the tenacity on there. I love the energy. If they put that out 3 months in advance, if
the other Continental Championship had the same rules, we could maybe double down on the argument. If the other Continental Championship sat down and it was in the room and it was established that day, we might have the same argument. We don't. That's the problem, though. The problem is that you have all these different tournaments and all these different layers, and they're all different rules. That's the issue. But IDs, IDs, at the end of the day, they are actually incredibly healthy for the game. Yeah. And they are. And the reason they are is because like you can't tell someone, okay? You can't tell someone, right? And this is just like, this is even an credit to those players that are new to understand the reward from starting 5-0 in a tournament, right? Like the reward to it is that you actually like who the hell wants to play for 9 rounds, right? And then immediately go into a top 8. And they're like, first of all, I know we live in this world where everyone's like, oh, lunch breaks are awesome and lunch breaks are great and like all those great things. And they do have, listen, they have purpose. But when a player starts out 5-0 and they're able to say like, okay, 7-round tournament, 5-0, I'm good, I'm golden, I'm in top cut. Let's thump it down. Let's be rewarded for my accomplishment in this tournament. Okay. And that's why tiebreakers exist also, right? No one understands them, at least not enough that you should. But that is the biggest problem, is that people see these players drawing and they're like, oh, they ridiculous. They got to just draw in. And what they don't understand is that if you lost in round 1 and you're fighting for your life in round 5, 6, 7, the likelihood, honestly, we can go back to this weekend and look at it. The likelihood of you making a top 8, it didn't exist anyway. You already lost.
And I think, honestly, if people were forced to play it all the way out, that story wouldn't be the case. And I'm not disagreeing with you in the fact that on a highly contested field, then we shouldn't have it. If you got a long tournament with 9, 10 rounds of Swiss, then yes, let's go ahead and get those draws in because of fatigue reasons and everything that you stated. But if we have a 12-person set championship and you got little Scotty over there who just so happened to get paired up with super mega freaking Zan Syed, sits down with little Scotty, cooks him round number 1. Little Scotty goes on a heater after that, makes it all the way a deep run, can't even get into the top 8 because he faced off with Zan in round number 1.
No, that's not true. Your example here is bad because in any 12-person tournament, like,
I'm saying
12-person tournament is actually the worst example because
12-person is a small. I might be being a bit hyperbolic. Maybe not 12-person tournament because that's just going to be a Swiss 3-round or something like that. But like a bigger, maybe a smaller set champ, maybe like 20 people when you got like 4 rounds of Swiss.
It's always a numbers thing.
Yeah.
It's always about the numbers, right? But the end all be all is that the reward for going undefeated to the point that you can decide to draw, it doesn't even matter if there is no draws. This player still is unlikely to get in on tiebreakers.
Hey, and that's honestly, that's why I'm such a fan of Mr. Bivens, Zach Bivens. He's like, I'm not going to give you an intentional draw. We're going to play because that's a skill expression as well.
There's a difference in his method also.
No, I'm saying, but that is another thing. That's a skill because there are benefits that you can get from having the higher seed in that next day.
That's a whole different thing.
That's a whole nother subject. But I'm saying,
like,
what if I have been in a dojo? Okay, I've been training. My endurance is strong. And my fortitude is strong, and I got a strong deck. I feel like I can beat anyone in a 2-game format.
Sure.
Why would I want to draw and then when I put myself at a disadvantage when I know I can probably cook and get you out of here? Okay, so I don't see you in the top cut.
Sure. And for what's worth, you have the right to do that.
Yeah,
you absolutely have the right. If you're the guy that gets the pair down, you have the ability. There's 2 options here. If you're already locked in top 8, guess what? You can concede to your opponent, put them in top 8. You can do that.
Yeah.
Or you also can just dream crush and say, get out of here. But you also have the ability to say, okay, we can draw. We can go get lunch. We can go enjoy it. I can reap the rewards of my benefit by having the choice to do it and be rewarded for my success in the tournament. What I think is worse, and this is a little bit off tangent here, is the problem with the 2-game format and the point structure around the 2-game format is that people actually are never out of the tournament. So that's the success of that, is that you get to literally have the option that even in a DLC, if you start 0-4, guess what? You could still make day 2. Like that's sickening, but it's true.
It's something
like you can literally still make it. Where in any other regulation tournament, you start out 0-2, you're not making top cut. And it's not about the record. It's about the tiebreakers of when you lost. And that is the most common thing here, is that what people don't like about IDs is that they think that's the reason they didn't make top 8. It's not.
That's not. You weren't gonna. You probably. I will concede that point. Is that I do hear that on a set championship level because that is the most common events that I typically go to, and I just see it. I've been on both sides of it. I'm not gonna sit here. Dan, full disclosure. I have drawn in to a top 8 more than once.
Of course you have.
Everyone has. Because everyone else is doing it. Okay, it's like one of those. Well, he did it, and I always feel terrible about it because you look at table 6, you see table 1 through 4, and they're over here high-fiving and jaw-jacking, knowing that they're in. And you look over at table 6 and you see these Muldoons over here on the struggle bus fighting for their life, and you know they probably don't even have a chance to make it in. And it does feel horrible. Whereas if we were forced to play, they would at least potentially have a shot to get in if one of us loses. They might though. They could.
They don't.
If we lose, if one of those people lose, then maybe they could.
If that person loses, they're losing to a player that's 5-0. And their tiebreaker will be above yours always. If you're in a losing position in a losing table, you're beating a player and making your tiebreaker worse. The person that lost to the better player in the same round is getting a better breaker than you. They will always be better than you.
Right.
Like, there's no jumping moments here. People believe
I do feel if we just got on the set championship level, there needs to be no draws. I honestly, and I guarantee you that it would be a much better experience, because if it were going to happen anyway, it wouldn't matter. And at least people won't have that excuse.
I think that in this world, where I will agree with you is if we have no draws in the game period. If we have no draws in the game period, awesome. But you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Okay.
You can't have championships have no draws, DLCs have draws.
Okay.
We can't live in that world. We need to live in a world where it's like it's all or nothing. All right. And then I will double down on Braden here. The benefit of not being live in a tournament is only a credit to the tournament organizer, in my humble opinion. It is okay to not be live in a tournament, to move on to the next thing. Because the moment that you give someone hope, it only makes it feel worse in the end.
And I will disagree with Braden here, is because we got to understand that going to a DLC is a full experience. Even if you can't make day 2 or can't make top cut, you can get points. You can get the tickets. You need to keep playing in the event. And I think that you can get those the Rapunzel score stuff and things of that sort.
But that is like the hope that kills you moment. But that is also, we're talking about different levels of players, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think competitive, if we're talking about literally at the top echelon of competitive, if my goal is to make day 2, I would much rather be removed from that equation as early as possible than to be given hope that it ever existed. If my goal is to go in and get 30 points and be successful and just win a Rapunzel, that is much different.
Right. It's like I like watching the Olympics. One of my favorite events to watch is the marathon. Okay, I love watching people who can run fast for a long time. It's always very impressive to me. If you watch the New York City Marathon, you'll see they have a lot of hyper athletes in the front. They're trying to win the race. But if you look back, there's going to be how many? We talked about this earlier. There's only going to be 10. There's going to be 10 Kenyans in there. Maybe a few Ethiopians. There's going to be one dude from Sweden probably. And there's going to be maybe some North Africans in there. Those guys are going to win. Okay. Jessica, who signed up for the fun run, sitting at 2,400 spot, she's probably not going to win. Josiah, who came up from wherever, he's in the back of the pack. He's probably not going to win. Okay, but guess what? He's going to run that marathon, and he's going to get to the end, and he's going to get his medal, and he's going to be very happy about that. This is a life-changing event. You got to understand, this is not we're thinking about it from the competitive aspect.
No, because I'm not. Because I think that, again, the way that it's set up right now, it's fine. If a player goes in and just says, I want to win 30 points, I'm going to get 30. If that's my goal, great. That's your goal. If your goal is 20 points, great. That's your goal. But at some point, there should be like some recollection of like, hey, we're just going to have more side events that you can win points at.
For sure.
You can go and you can still enjoy Disney Lorcana all day. You can still experience this in any way, especially like if we're like the type of player that doesn't even like the competitive scene, like that doesn't even like constructed. You just want to go draft all day. You just want to go.
You can do that.
Play sealed all day. Like, if the tournaments were there to have that, if the TO is doing that, no one's going to feel bad about this. Like no one, you would feel way worse about starting 0-2 in a tournament if you're just like, all right, we'll just, you know what, not my day. I'll go roll over. I'll play some sealed.
Yeah,
you know, I'll get my points somewhere else. I'll get my Rapunzel somewhere else, and everybody wins in the situation. Like, yes, we can make a level of a disagreement of like, hey, this player got to pay more money to be more like to win what they want, but like we're there. This has to be a business at the end of the day. The tournament organizers got to make money. Ravensburger got to show the like success leaves clues. We got to show proof. Like, hey guys, this time We took the 30-point away thing. We made it 20 points. So now when everyone gets to 20 points and they got that threshold and they got that card that they wanted, they were able to drop and they go sign up for a side event and win their next one. The moment you make it higher and you scale it, you're giving people this false hope where if it was only 20 points and that's all I had to do, now I get the 20 points. If I'm at 20 points, I know I can't get to 45. I'm going to go play in the side event.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I can still experience Disney Lorcana. I can
see that.
So
I agree. I agree with that take. I do. I personally, if just in conclusion, if I had to side on it, I would completely remove draws from the game.
Sure.
I think they're un-American. Okay, and we went over that in my preamble.
I'm good with it. I'm good with it.
Get rid of them. And no intentional or anything. Get a winner, get a loser, and be done with it.
The only way that this does happen is that not only would they have to say, okay, there's no intentional draws, you would also have to have the sudden death overtime rules to always be enforced, which for the record, the thing that I hate more than anything is unintentional draws. I hate unintentional draws more than anything on the planet.
No, I'm talking zero draw.
I know that.
Yeah,
but I'm double downing on the fact of just like where we should start is there should not be any unintentional draws.
Right.
Because in a world where you say, okay, we can't ID, people can still play to that out. They can still sit down for 50 minutes, lolly.
Yeah.
And then how do we prove intent? Right. We go right back to it. How do we prove intent?
Exactly.
So like, if the only way this works is if you do full flat, remove them from the game, you also now have to enforce that unintentional draws no longer exist either.
Some type of sudden death rule. But then that's another thing. Again, that might be a monkey palm situation because people will exploit that too. They'll drag it into time and try to click. So I might be wishing for something that I really don't want.
No, I think that the people don't want to hear this. The best way to get around all of this is to play one game. Play one game.
People hate that. I'd be so for it.
People hate it. I love it.
Or a multiple approach, like a two-pronged approach, like do a one-game format for the first 4 rounds and switch it to a two-game format. And nothing. Can't do it.
No, because if you play a best of one, all you do is Swiss +2. You just add 2 rounds of Swiss. People like to complain about the die roll in this game. That's all great and dandy too. But if we go Swiss +2 and you remove the variance of the die roll and we play extra rounds and you just go play one game, move on with life, tournaments end 1 million times faster. People hate long tournaments. Guess what? You're only playing one game around. I promise you, those tournaments are flying. I have played games where it is a best of one. I loved it. And we're talking about like in Worlds, in Nationals, all those things. Like I played in games that did focus around that, and they were successful games for years that did this format, and it was fine. Don't need it. It's a whole other conversation. But the point is that like if you can't have separate rules for several, like you can have them in terms of like leniency and like how we treat players and things like that and professionalism. But when it comes to IDs, you either have them or you do not have them. And then if you do not have them, you have to double down and make sure that we cover all of those things that like people can abuse. Anything that you give a player to abuse, they will.
Yeah,
so
100%. You have to close the loophole. I agree with that. I think we got somewhere, Dan. I think we're saving the game. Okay. If you're watching this, Ravensburger, please don't just consider me. Okay. I take the job. Okay. We can help. And Dan as well. Dan, get Dan in here. Maybe Dan first and then me second. But we're just trying to help.
I'll take them both.
Don't put us on the blacklist, dude. We're just trying to help. I mean,
we're just trying to help. I feel like I've said it a million times. I don't have to keep saying it. I only have these conversations because I care.
Like, there you go.
It's it.
I like it.
Oh, JD. Okay.
No.
All right. I listen. Chat. I'm ignoring you because we're heated here and we're doing it's in a positive manner, But God, you guys are crushing it today. Seriously, shout out to you guys. A mile a minute. I guarantee you. Listen, we're gonna get stream's gonna end eventually. By the way, we're going longer today. I called in the wife and I said, hey, can you go pick up the kids today from school?
Let's go.
Because I don't feel like ending the stream right now. I want to go. I want to keep going.
I like it.
So we're going the distance today, guys. Shout out. All right. But seriously, chat's been killing it. You guys are awesome, without a doubt. If you're on YouTube, description below has JDZ. You can find him. If you don't know where he is, he's excellent. A+. He wouldn't be here if I didn't think that. Let's be honest.
Thank you.
So, You guys are killing it. I'm loving it. I'm gonna take a drink of water, and we have another subject that people love and hate.
Okay, I love it. I mean, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. And again, I got to thank you enough, man. I can't thank you enough for allowing me to be here with you. I'm glad you even know who I am. You know what I'm saying? The Forbidden
How
Mountain.
could I not?
You guys are a staple of this industry. You know what I'm saying? I've had an opportunity to get to know Lorcana villain, Lorcana, get to know Spessy. This is why. That's hurtful. Okay. No. But seriously, thank you for letting me be here and waking up in the morning with you on this beautiful. So if anyone's out there on this Tuesday, April Fools, hope you guys are having a great day. If you're scumming time at work, I do appreciate that. Get your job in, put your headphones in, and just listen to some Lorcana chat with Dan in the morning. Get your coffee out. I do appreciate it, man. I love being here, and I love talking Lorcana. So anytime you need a guy, I can be there. I'll be here. I got this is literally my life now. This is it.
He can see it, guys. He can see the chat.
I can see it. I'm looking at it, but it's literally, you guys might see it on one. You might be watching on one platform or another. I'm seeing it from all of it, and it's literally zooming down. Like people are actually coming in.
This is it, guys. This is the Morning Climb, the Morning Climb. That's the new show, Tuesday mornings. Shout out to me. I'm the host. I get awesome co-hosts every week. That's the goal. Try to get somebody on here every single week that we can. I won't lie, it's going to become a little bit more difficult pretty shortly, but we're still going to try and get the most out of where we can. And this is my favorite thing. I tell people, anyone ever asks me about content, I say the number one thing that I love to do more than anything is have interviews. I love it. I love meeting people that I respect, that I believe in, that I think are great for the community, that I want to give them a platform to come on, tell their story, talk about it, have these conversations. And what I respect even more, and I said it like an hour ago, or I don't even know when it was at this point, there's not enough content in the world. This guy right here, he agreed with me. He came up and he said, no, I'm going to make sure there's something to watch. And absolutely, that is the best part. That's what I appreciate the most, because I love making content. I love it. I'm all about it. I'm on the grind. We've been on the grind since April of 2023. That's 6 months before the game even came out.
OG level behavior,
So, like, we're here. We support it. We love it. We support the grind. And it is one of those, like, if we can have a conversation on a Tuesday morning, hang out with chat, being on it, like, honestly, like, this is it. This is the, like, the pinnacle of it, of like excitement that I get about Disney Lorcana. So yeah.
And that's a great point. And if you ever watch any of my YouTube videos or any of my streams, I always try to end it. Shout out to the real ones. Salute to the OGs. Okay, the OGs, the originators, because I wasn't here from day one. Okay, I started playing Lorcana at set 3 and set 4, and then I really started getting into content creation not that long ago, because I was coming from a different game. But I know that there are a lot of people who've been doing this content thing for a long time, a lot of people who are pillars of this industry. And I would be remiss in my responsibility if I don't say I can't be here if not for the people who have come before me. All the great work that you guys have done to establish this community, to put this content together, to get the rules out there, to get the information out there, because Ravensburger can only do so much. And it's going to require the people like you, the people like Villain, the people like Spessy, the people like the Illuminateers, the people like who have come before who have laid this foundation of this community for people like me to come in and say, okay, now they got the groundwork done. Let me put my house over here on this corner, and other people can come in. Let me put my condo over here, and we're building this network of people. But it won't be there if there wasn't this sturdy, rock solid foundation that has been needed.
Yeah,
so
and
that's why I thank you for that.
I said this before we started. A person like Spessy wasn't here day one. But Spessy had a following. He had a lot of eyes from other games that he was playing. And when he came in, it raised everybody. Right. It's a big deal. Like when you get a player or like a person in the like the trading card game space, the digital card game space that comes in and sees it and they put eyes, it only makes us better. Like I talk about the suggested video. Okay. Like, listen, guys, whenever a video ends on YouTube, you get a suggested video. If someone is popping off on YouTube, everybody's benefiting it, because if you're the same, it's a big deal. Like I would love it if everyone got on the grind like JDZ did, and he came in here and he said, I want it. I want to bring it. I want to bring that impact. I want to bring that energy. I look at JDZ and I'm like, man, I love it. I love the hustle because you know what? I feel it. I am proud to say this. I don't think anyone works harder than I do in Disney Lorcana. I really do. I really believe that. I 100% believe that I put in more effort and more time into this than anyone else does. And you know what? I can take a debate. I can take a conversation, but I don't think you're going to convince me otherwise. But what I can see when people are doing it. And JDZ is out there hustling. He's out there killing it. And that is exactly why I was so excited to get in this conversation.
Let's go. I appreciate that.
And we're going to bring in the next subject because you know what, JDZ?
Let's do it.
If we don't, we're never going to finish anything.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay.
So
okay.
I'm going to take the opportunity to put my own stuff on blast here. And I'm going to let you talk about it because this is a topic that people love and hate. Okay. All right. And there's a lot of love for it. There's a lot of hate for it. Okay.
We're about to make some people mad on this one.
There's a lot of love and hate for it. Okay. People either absolutely hate this or there's the people that respect it. Okay. And man, I could go off on a tangent for a little while here. I'm going to let you. I'm going to let you start because if I start, it's going to look bad.
I'll try to set the tone, and then when you want to dunk on me and tell me I'm wrong, just hit the mute button. I can rant, okay? But we'll have to lay the foundation of what this screen means that you guys are looking at. Paywalls for content. So typically in Disney Lorcana right now, as Dan did allude to, there is a huge stopgap of content in Lorcana, especially on that highly contested competitive echelon. When you're trying to go from a social player to a competitive player, trying to find information right now, it is very difficult to do. Okay, so now these top players have identified that, and instead of like making it an attainable thing to get to, you're going to put that stuff behind these paywalls, these metafiles. And first, I'm going to say shout out to all of them for doing that. I think that is something that should happen. I'm a big supporter of the paywall strategy. I'm big meta myself. I have purchased multiple guides. Okay, and these guides are very well done, and they are going to make you a better player. And these players have poured a lot of time, energy, and effort and research into this information, and they are putting it in a nice, tightly compiled package, and they are sending it off, and people can purchase that, and they can get better almost immediately. But what I will say is that it has to be, in my opinion, again, we're talking about America, we're talking about capitalism. I don't want to get into that debate and dialogue, but the market will sort itself out. I do feel that these players are doing themselves a disservice when they charge these exorbitant, I don't even know the word, exorbitant, is that the word? Prices for these guides. I've seen them go up to $45, $50, $60 for a guide. I will gladly give a content creator $10, $15 for these things, because that is what I think would be a nice amount for them, and they can sell so many and they can make so much more. But what I am also, I'm gonna let you cook, Dan. Give me one more second. I also love this interview method. On my channel, I have done significant interviews with some of the game's greatest players. I've had Zan, I've had Ed, I've had DKP, I've had Hamza, I've had Lamb, I've had Riplon. I have so many great players come by, and every single time I'm like, hey, when's the YouTube channel dropping? When's the podcast dropping? When's that information? Because you could probably make a significant amount more if you just put it out behind YouTube, get monetized probably within 3 months if the content's decent, and you can make way more than you would if you just, constantly do these guides, and you won't have to update it, all that kind of stuff. But I get why they do it. I fully support the idea of it, but I think that capitalism will work and people will buy what they want and not what they don't. But I think it'll be so much better if more people could access that information, because it would make the game stronger overall. What do you think on that?
All right. Trying to make some people angry.
Okay, do it. I'll support you on this one.
Here's what I have to say to the people that don't like it.
Okay.
All right. What I think about the people that do not like it, I genuinely believe that those people do not for one moment respect their own time.
Right.
Okay. Everyone here, the one thing that we have zero control of in our life is time. Zero. We don't, it doesn't exist. Like, we cannot, no matter what, today has 24 hours in it. All right. Period. Can't fix it. Can't change it. Can you choose what to do with your time? Absolutely. You have a choice what to do with it, but you do not have a choice of how much you have. And because of that, I think that people think, and not to mention, I can go on forever here.
Okay.
They believe, in that capitalism, they believe in that world of like, oh, information should always exist and it should be free. First and foremost, for my own rebuttal, I'm not going to speak for every person that puts content on Metafy or anywhere else. I believe that I put a hell of a lot of content out there, right? I put a hell of a lot of information out there. I'm not really hiding anything. If anything, all Metafy is getting like the extra bit of information. It's, you know what it really is? It's getting if I make a meta report on Monday, things change by Friday, right? And you might get something on Friday that is never going to see the light of day in a video because it's past the time, but it's still an opinion that's out there to get the information. Our guides, specifically our guides, you know, I made a doc guide in October, right? I'm at the Steel Doc, made a guide for it in October. Guess what, guys? That guide still gets updated. Like I didn't make some new guide for set 6 and set 7. Like, no. Like it's the same guide. If you purchase that thing for $10 in October, you have gotten like 28 chapters or whatever the hell the information is. So it's not like we're double downing and saying like, oh, it's a new set, I'm going to make a brand new guide and make everyone spend $10 more. Like, no. Like, you got it forever. It's getting updated. You're getting the information. And the real truth is that, you know, in a world, Dick Burns likes to make jokes a lot of times about being a full-time content creator. Listen, you guys are here. You're hanging out with me. I love you guys very, very much for being there. You're getting the ad rolls. If you're not subscribed, if you are subscribed, even better. A+. Thank you so much. You know, if you're a supporter on, I don't even remember what it's called. I think it's support on YouTube. I literally don't even remember what it's called. If that's how you get your ads, if you got,
I think you have to have YouTube Premium. Or
no,
you can be a member.
You can do the same thing. Like there's a
like a membership.
It's called support or membership. There it is.
Membership.
Membership on YouTube. You're not getting ads. I love you. So trust me. If you're subscribed on Twitch, I love you. Trust me. But you know, ad roll is ad roll. It ain't much, guys. Like you talk about, you look at these numbers, you're like, oh, 10,000 ads, that's great. You know, 10,000 views on a video, that's great. Yeah, like on average, you know, if we made $25 on a video, that's like all right. Cool. You know, if most views are like, I don't know. Like if most videos are $8, $10, $9, like it ain't there. And the real truth is, and, you know, I'll be very honest, you know what Metafy does more than anything? It enables me to go to events, to be in the room, to get even better information. I think that the best information I give, the best meta reports I do are the ones that are directly correlated to an event that I attended, because I was there. I was able to literally talk to people all weekend long. I was able to have the conversations. I was able to go out and say, you know what? This is what happened. I don't got to read deck list on a screen for a tournament that I didn't attend.
Right.
I was there. I saw the games. I watched the games. So like, to me, what Metafy has offered to the player base of this game, much similar to the content creators of this game on YouTube, hitting that button, hitting those things, is that it gives people an outlet to be even more expressive, even give even more information, and utilize their time to save people their time.
Right.
You know, I said it a couple times here, 10, 11 years old when I started playing card games. Yeah, Disney Lorcana has only been out for less than 2 years, right? But no one can buy 20 years. Like, I'm sorry, you can actually buy 20 years of time by buying into the experience that these players have.
Yeah,
you know, like,
and that's honestly to that exact point. That's why I'm not anti-guide meta. I have personally in my own time, because I don't have a lot of time to play as much as I would like, and grind as hard as some of these players have. So I would love to I want to support the players, to encourage them to continue to make. Any content is better than no content. So I'm always going to try to support when I can, to encourage them to keep doing it. And I want to have that information because it makes me a better broadcaster. It makes me a better player. And it also, I can share that information to other people who maybe don't have the resources to be able to purchase that kind of thing. But at the same time, I think if you're charging these super high prices, you are inadvertently I hate the word gatekeeping. I don't want to say that, but if your time is super valuable and you want to maximize your time, but if you keep it at that $10 to $15 mark, I think if someone is really serious about it, they'll still buy it. You'll make a decent amount of money, and also, you know what I'm saying, more people will have access to that information. Whereas if you say, hey, it makes it very exclusive, and less people are less likely to buy it, and it's just, you know, it's just going to hurt. It's going to hurt more than I think it will help in my opinion.
I think that I don't know. I think that's just like a personal preference thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'll go back to the valuing your own time. If you don't think, right, and if you as the consumer do not think that it's worth it to spend $50 on a guide, then that is your choice, right?
Yeah,
don't buy it.
The system will work itself out. Capitalism will work there.
Like, just don't do it. Like, that's fine. Like, you can, if you want to complain about it, that's fine. But in all honesty, like, that is just you saying like, okay, this is not worth my money. This is not worth my time investment because I think $50 is like not worth it. And that's cool. Like, if that's what it is, like, that's cool. If you're the type of player that says, hey, for $10, if I'm going to get 6 months of updates about an archetype, like, that sounds like a great bet. Like, that is great. That's a great way to support a content creator. I'm fully supportive of those things. But when it comes to the person, right, as me, like, as I am the person, like, my coaching tier is $45. You get me $45, you get me for an hour. Okay.
Yeah.
And there are other people out there that it's $60, it's $100, it's $120, right? Like, there are way more expensive people out there, and they believe that their hour is worth that rate. When I am on the job, right? Like, when I work my full-time job, there's days where I am making $100 an hour, right? Like, so like, I am telling you that I think as a content creator, as a skilled player in Disney Lorcana, I don't want to bring up the stupid ELO thing, but I will for a second. Like, that ranking of ELO system tells me that I am 50th in the world in Disney Lorcana events, right? Like, great. I can see that I've had success in a game that is fine. Whether or not it's good enough is a whole other debate, but there's proof in the pudding that it exists. I believe that my time is worth $45. If you want me for an hour to have a conversation about literally anything, and I've coached on team building, I've coached on content creation, I've coached on players, their first time ever in a game, and I've coached about players that have been playing for years, right? Like, I've done all of it. Like, the experience is all over the place. I believe that my time right now is worth $45 an hour. And I can tell you from my experience, because I ask at the end of all of it, right, is that, hey, what did you get out of this? Do you think that you made your money? Like, was I worth your money? Leave the Testomania. And if it's bad, tell me why it's bad. I would love to know why it's bad, because then I can grow from it. I can get better. But I think that it's when you talk about setting the prices, if someone believes that they're worth $100 an hour, then hey,
and
if you
I'm not.
Person,
hey, listen. If you're DKP, if you're whatever, you got this world class accreditation, you got to go to Mickey, and you want to charge X, that's fine. I'm saying anyone can charge. You can, if you say your time's worth $200 an hour, I would say go for it. If you think you can get it, go get it. But what I'm saying is that from a business practicality, I think you might be doing yourself a disservice, because you have to. Maybe there should be a union or something, or some kind of market watch or something, or something. Because if you're getting less, if you make one sale at $100 an hour,
it'll always be the debate. That'll always be the debate. Yeah. But like, the other thing is like, well, if they get 5 sales, right? 5 sales is $250 or $50, right?
Yeah.
The person at 10 they got to sell 25 people,
right?
So you got to look at it that way, and that's
it is a business. It's a business.
That's always difficult. I think that I for what it's worth, I think that all versions can be successful, in all honesty.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. Money, whenever you introduce money to any situation, there's always going to be problems. I think money just makes things a little sticky, and it's that's just how it is. Because some people are going to have it, some people aren't, and you get into that whole thing of like, oh, this person was able to get ahead because they had more money than this person, and that's a rough conversation. That is very dark for a Lorcana podcast, and I don't want to get there with it. But I think that is the market. The market will settle. Capitalism has to work. If somebody wants to buy and they have the liquid income to do it, and you're willing to charge whatever meets their needs, and they purchase it, great. But I'm saying it should be lower, just to ensure more people can have some access to that information, and you can also make a dime for your time. I
mean, let's just look at it. Let's compare a guide to a book, right? So like a book, you spend years, probably honestly like months, years, whatever, writing this book. Once it's out there, it is out there forever, and you set the price on it, and that is going to be the price for it forever. The difference with guides, and the reason why I could make an argument for why this should be more expensive, is because they're living. Like, you are always putting more effort and work into them. So like, if someone says like, hey man, I spent my whole Sunday like 12, I don't want to keep using DKP. He's easy to use because I know his process of like, he'll go back this weekend. He was on stream all day or whatever. Or was it last week? Whatever it was. He's going to go back and he's going to literally commentate over 12 hours of footage. That's an entire day that he has to commit. So like, what is that day worth to him?
Right.
You know,
right.
You got to think of it like that, you know?
Yeah. Because if and again, it's all based on if I'm DKP and I feel confident with my platform and my output, and I charge however much I want to charge, and I don't get the return that I want on it, and then you might have to lower the price. Because if you cast a wide net there and just open it up to like a studio of people or a whole group of people, you probably can get a little bit further. Your financial goals can be met, and also a lot more people could be helped. Because at the end of the day, I get it. You have to, again, this is kind of a business, and it's kind of an ugly thing, but you're still trying to monetize something that is not quite monetizable just yet, and people may start to be distracted by that and not support. When if you just make it more accessible, I think people might be more inclined to support. That's it. We can have this argument all day.
I don't think it's an argument, you know.
Charge what you can get. Know your worth, and charge what you can get. But there is going to be diminishing returns. It's
really, and listen, the beautiful thing about Metafy is that it's a library. Okay, like if you go there and you go to the Disney Lorcana category, it is a library, and you can look at everything there is to offer. Some of the stuff's free, you know, like some of you take it off the shelf, you read it, you're like, okay, cool. Some of it's not, but what you do is you have a choice. You can go and you can look at it, you can see it, and I think that that's great. And listen, you said it, I have bought guides from other person, because you know what, I would be doing a discredit to my own capabilities in the game if someone's going to put out information and I know that I can learn from it, I would literally be disingenuous to myself for not taking the information.
And we talked about that before we fired the stream off. We talked about that. I hate to keep bringing up Zan. I hate to keep, because I bought Zan's guy, the 50-0. He got me. I bought it right away. Boom. And I would be, if I'm going to a tournament and I know Zan's at this tournament and he's like, hey guys, here's the deck I'm going to play at this tournament, I'm gonna check it out, because and we talked about this. You disagree with me, or we're not disagreeing, but no, I think you're putting yourself at a tactical disadvantage when you're showing your entire hand before you even sit down and register for the tournament.
So so the brilliance of that, at the end of the day, is that if we are able to create a market for any product and we're able to sell the product to the market, you actually are removing the variance. Right. Okay. So with Zan, who is a established player, DLC champion, top 4 NACC, multiple other great finishes in other great tournaments, he is if he says I can put a product out that I know is going to sell, and you're like, oh, I'm putting myself at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Right. I'm putting myself at a disadvantage in this tournament. Well, you know what the fact is? He's better than you are.
Yep.
Okay. Doesn't matter if you have his information. He's better than you. Okay.
Yep.
That's number one. Number two, he removes the variance, because if this tournament is only worth X dollars, right?
He's already won.
It's only worth X dollars, and we have people purchasing this nonstop. I'm not going to put the number out there. I know the number of what Zan is getting on that guy. I know the number.
I also know, because I bought the guy. And I can see how many people.
If you go on Metafy and you click and you read and you just do simple math, guess what? It doesn't. If Zan did not make top cut and he did not win that tournament, you know, and he didn't make any money back.
He already won before he showed up.
He literally won before he sat down. All right, he won before he sat down, guys. So like this whole theory of like, oh, you put yourself in this event. No. You actually removed the threat of failure, because people bought in immediately. So like, no.
Yeah.
It is. Listen, I joke, I kid. I love David Nunes. TFM team member David Nunes, second place finish at DLC Toronto. I tell Nunes all the time, like, Nunes, if I second placed at DLC Toronto instead of you, I would have 10x'd our Metafy 100%.
Right.
But because he did it and it wasn't me, it's not the same. But when you have that platform, you're DLC winner, NAC winner.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff you say is going to be
titles carry in anything. If you got a title, it's going to carry. Okay. Yeah. You got to sell it. And you should be kind of, I mean, I know I'm having two sides of both this conversation, but if you have a title and you have a known entity and you can financially gain from that, you should. Okay, I mean, I'm not I respect the system. I do respect the
Yeah.
economy, but I think I absolutely think you should. But at the same time, you do have a responsibility to make that stuff as accessible. So make your money, but also think about
that's why at the end of my last coaching session, we actually talked about the subject, and I'm very open about it. I listen, I'll have a conversation with you. I won't have it on Twitter. I'm not gonna have a conversation on Twitter. You want to hit me up in DMs? You want to have a conversation about it? Cool. Like, you hit me up on Discord, we'll have a conversation. But I said to him, he literally brought it to me. He goes, I just can't believe that anybody would complain about this in a world where the amount of effort that you put out that's just there. Anybody. I mean, like, listen, guys, I think I'm approaching 400 videos on YouTube.
Oh,
and
wow.
they ain't 1 minute long. Okay. Like anyone that's been here, they know that my content, the average time limit for my content on like, it really is, it's closer to like 35 minutes. So when you click on this video, you have 35 minutes of my time that really took me 6 to 8 hours to probably do research, make everything right. That is the epitome, right, of the opposite of a paywalled content. It's like, no, right. Like, it's there, it exists. I really do look at that second level of like, hey, if you want to support me in a better way than it is watching a couple ads, this is what information I'm going to give you that's past that.
Right.
And I'm going to appreciate every one of them. I think that, right now we're up to 27 supporters on Medify. For however long there was for YouTube or for Patreon that existed, that was awesome. I think we've had, 400 or 500 guide sales. I love every one of you that has done that. It's great. It is it's not a joke. It is the absolute best way to support a content creator, because the way that Medify is worked, we legitimately get 100% of that.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Like, on Medify, you actually, like, if you're on Patreon, you lose 50%. On YouTube, if you're subscribed on YouTube, we lose, like, no joke, like 70% of it. It is like, it's kind of ridiculous. On Twitch, we see like 50%. Like, Medify is absolute 100%. If you spend $10, I got $10.
Oh, that's really cool, man. I'm gonna make a guide, dude. How to grow a nice mustache, okay? How to wear a nice suit jacket, how to tie a tie, okay? How to do some broadcasts. I can get you guys in there. I can get you guys right, dude. I can write a whole book.
If you put how to tie a tie in Disney Lorcana, like on your video, like on YouTube, it's
gonna go up.
Go on.
Okay, that's sweet. That's sweet. We're gonna Medify coming soon. Lock in. We're gonna get you guys right.
I want to say that, like, before we move off the topic, I really want to put out there, I hear a lot of people like saying, like, I don't know what I have to offer, like all those things. To me, even if you just had a Medify that had a generic support tier as a content creator, even in a world where you don't think that you're good enough, you have imposter syndrome, if you don't think that you're good enough to actually do it, right? Like, if you really think that, let your audience support you.
Okay.
All right.
I'll try.
Let them support you. Let them choose whether or not you are worth $10, worth $15, because you know what? Your time is worth something. It's worth more than the ad roll on this video. Okay.
I just see Ed Chu just popped into the chat. Lock in.
I gotta hit Ed Chu. What up, Ed?
Lock in. Don't touch that down. I bought Ed Chu's guide so fast. I'm talking, as soon as it went live, I bought that bad boy. And I'm telling you right now, Ed Chu, you need to lock in. Where's your freaking YouTube at? He said he's going to start it. Feet to the fire, big dog.
They have. Oh, is it just specific Ed, or was it?
I want to see Ed talking on YouTube. I see him. He's a featured guest. He comes in on the SLTP podcast. I see him doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I need to see Ed Chu locked in on YouTube, because he got a lot of stuff to say. He's got a lot. He's got a 25-pound brain on this game too. And whenever I hear him talking, I like to tune in and listen. So I think he can be.
I want to move on, but there's a lot of conversations I hear all the time, like some of the best players in Disney Lorcana. I don't know how so many times it comes up where a guy who won a DLC at NACC is not like instantly the answer. I don't know. I'll just be honest. Like, listen, I know there's a lot of success out there, but like,
it's baffling
when you win a DLC and NACC. It's really hard to compete who's the best player. It's
baffling. It's bad because I think he's so quiet. He's so quiet. He's not on Twitter. He's not on YouTube like that. He's not making noise. He's not doing too much. He's just he's humble. He shows up, dominates, and gets out of there.
Yeah,
and that's cool. He's a journeyman. He's a journeyman. He's all about the craft, man. So YouTube coming soon. Ed Chu podcast. Stay tuned. Keep it locked.
All right. I love it. Okay, I think we hit on all the touchy subjects. All right, guys.
Okay.
Now we're gonna have some fun. I've been having a blast, just so we're clear. I've been having an absolute blast. It's been a lot of fun. But we are gonna have some fun. Okay, so we did straight up podcast 2 hours 40 minutes. We've been rushing it. Chat has been absolutely outstanding, crushing it. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. I already know. If you haven't hit the like button for me, I really do appreciate it. It does help. If you're watching after the fact, God, I can't wait for all the comments because we hit on so many things. But like, just hit it up. But seriously, now we're gonna go to that point where I never do this live. We don't do this live, guys. But we are gonna put JDZ on the spot.
Ooh, let's go.
All right.
I got my pen and pad. I'm ready.
We got it. Okay. We have this section. I love it. We call it when I interview the greats, when I interview the DLC winners, the CCS winners, all those guys, and when I have that sit down, we do a little section called Repeat After Me. Okay. Now the real truth is that in all often, like guys, ready? We're live, so we might as well tell the whole story. The best part about Repeat After Me, okay, right? It's the clippable moment. All right. It is the clippable moment. It is the actual. I am literally designing the moment in itself. Okay. Content creator breakthrough here, guys. I'm creating the moment that is the introduction to the video. Okay, that is what we are creating, right? That's what we're doing. Okay?
Am I about to get cooked?
No.
How cooked am I? Okay, I'm ready.
Listen,
I'm locked in. Okay,
we're live. I'm going to be so nice to you. Okay.
Oh, take it. Hey, look, I'm ready. I got strong shoulders. All right.
Straight up.
I can take it. All right.
Repeat after me.
Let's do it.
My goal in Disney Lorcana is.
My goal in Disney Lorcana is. You didn't say anything. I'm not going to keep going, right?
That's it.
I'm cooked.
That's it. You messed up the first one.
The dramatic pause. Run it back. The dramatic pause, and you looked at me like I was a goofball, and it threw me off. Okay, you looked at me like I was a goofy goober, and it threw me off my game.
Man, this is why we don't do this live, guys.
You threw me off. Okay, I was locked in. I was going to sit here and stall it, but I was like, hold on, I think I'm getting this wrong. I should have just paused it. Okay, one more. Run it back. Edit that. Cut that out of there. Run it back.
We're going to live with it forever.
I'm good.
All right, so you're going to repeat after me and then give me the answer, JC.
Am I supposed to?
Yes, you're supposed to answer.
This whole premise, you set me up, and my mind is already cooked. Okay, I will repeat after you, and I'll give you. Okay, run it back. Edit. Boop. Okay,
all right,
run it back.
All right, ready? So repeat after me, and then I'll be more. You tell me the answer. Okay?
I'm going to give you the answer. I was going to see you cooked me, man. You did. You knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. Okay. Run it back. All right, edit. Editor, take 2. Speed. Rolling.
My goal in Disney Lorcana is.
My goal in Disney Lorcana is. I want to become a broadcaster. Okay. I am severely limited in my ability to play this game at the highest possible level. And I understand this. Okay. I have had issues in my own personal life that just limiting factors in my, it's just really hard. Okay. So I personally, I don't think I can ever make it. I do love the game. I enjoy playing the game, but my real goal is to become a Disney Lorcana broadcaster and content creator. This community is so vibrant. It's so awake. It's so live. And I feel that is if I continue to push, if I continue to elevate the level of the broadcasting situation, I can add something to that broadcast team that they have for the North American side. The European side, I think they have stellar commentary over there. Not taking anything away from the North American side. We have stellar teams there, but I feel like I can add something to it because I just want to be a part of the team and be a part of the longevity of this game and help promote this game. So that is my primary objective, my primary goal. And if it doesn't work out, I would love to play. I would love to make a day 2. I've got pretty close a few times, but it just never happened. So I would love that to be a part of it. But that's my answer. Rant complete.
Perfect. Everyone knows. If they didn't know before, they now know who JDZ Quest is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% with you. I think I said this well before the season 1 started. I always wanted to be a commentator, and my reasoning is a little different than others. But I have been very successful in card games.
Mm-hmm.
I have the ability to say I'm a world champion.
Nice.
I have the ability to say that. And from the moment that I was successful in card games, honestly, my true ambition to be some incredibly great professional player, it's not there anymore. It is the actual grind and urge is to be better at the next thing for me. And I understand that this is a different card game. It's a different set of rules. It's all of those things. But for me, my honest goal is to be the best version of something I have not been. And that's why I took content creation so seriously, because I believed that this was a goal that I can compete at and that I could always get better. I'm a firm believer in 1% better, right? Like everything we do, 1% better. The last video wasn't great, 1% better. And it's not about being perfect, because you know what? Done is better than perfect. Okay. It is incredibly difficult to be perfect. It's honestly, I would go to the extent of saying it's impossible. So like for me, it has always been about that. It is 100% about being in a position to where I can be successful and I can do that next level of thing that I can be like, you know what? I did that and I was so happy. I don't think there will ever be a more gratifying moment of like everything in my control than winning a world championship. All right. It'll never be surpassed. But if I could be on a scale and come away from something and say, you know what? I killed that. That's always the next thing that I'm trying to achieve. So yeah, I'm with you.
Absolutely. And it sounds like you're describing passion. I think that's a lot of things that a lot of people in their own lives are missing. They haven't found the one thing that they are passionate about, the thing that you just want to do, the thing that you'll do for free, the thing that it doesn't like. If there's not that is your passion. That is what you love to do. That is aside from your family. That is aside from going to your work. And aside from your obligation, it is your passion. And it seems like you're passionate about this game. You're passionate about your content creation. You're passionate about this. And I'm passionate about the same thing. So that's how you say, how can this guy, he's here, he's there, he's doing broadcasting, he's on stream for 12 hours. Because I actually love what I'm doing and I'm super passionate about. And I just want to share that with as many people as that are willing to listen. And hopefully that is
I'm with you. I'm all about it.
Yeah, it is what it is. Sorry.
No, you're good. We got just a couple things. All right.
Okay.
Our next game is called Would You Rather.
Okay.
All right. It's about to get really, really, really serious. Okay. Like life or death is depending on the answer of the next question. Honestly, it is dependent on our friendship moving forward. All right. Are you ready?
Heart's pounding. The heart is pounding. Ready? The heart is pounding. Oh, this is an easy clap. This is an easy clap. It's Marvel every single day of the week. Okay. We're talking Marvel clean 2-0. I'm talking, we're not even side decking. We're not even sideboarding. We don't even have to roll the mat up. This is a clean 2-0.
I just want to go into like, you're like sitting there like, oh my God, what's it going to be? What is Dan going to do to me? How's he going to put me on the spot? And I'm like, yeah, man.
Oh, that's a clean. Any DC out there in the chat? Let's have that debate. Are you team DC? Okay. I was about to say, although I gotta say this, I will add this to the conversation though about this topic: Marvel versus DC. Sony, get out of there. Okay, Sony. Anything you got going on, Sony? I'm talking to your lawyers right now.
Sony likes money, bro.
Just be done with it, man. Let's let it go. Because I went and watched that Craven the Hunter. Cut it, dude. Absolutely cut it. Everyone involved with that. Just
get rid of VHS.
Sony, let it go. Marvel, 10 out of 10 would recommend over DC. DC's fumbled the bag too hard. They had some dubs in there, but big Marvel over here.
It's like the Dark Knight or bust.
Yeah. I did like the Batman stuff. Superman is just, and I'm about to offend some people. And I know I got Ann out there. Anthony Alvarado right there. That is another world champion. He's the world champion of Go Format out there in the chat. Longtime friend, big homie. I know he's got another good friend who's a big Superman fan. Can't stand Superman. I think Superman is the worst superhero that exists.
I have said this more times than I can ever imagine in my entire life. Superman's an asshole. Okay? All right, like
dog, that is a sentence I don't think I wasn't ready for that.
All right, I know you weren't. Like
that is a sentence that I don't think I was ready to hear. Okay,
it is the laziest form of writing I have ever envisioned in anything. All right, it's terrible.
And he can do anything. Oh, he got ice breath. He's got a vision. He's got the fly. He's got the strength. Bro, where's the conflict? Why is he so good?
Hold on, I got the conflict. It is. It's a green rock.
Kryptonite, get out of my life, dude. Just stop it. Wake up. Superman, and the fact that Superman exists in the same world as Batman and they're like on the same playing field. Can we stop, DC? Can we just lock in and get out of here with that? Wonder Woman.
Listen, it's really bad. Okay, it's really bad when you got to make a movie that your two heroes are fighting, like, and you're like, oh my god, it's great. Like the Civil War. Okay, it's one of the best stories in
super well done.
But what it's not about ego, like it ain't about ego. It's about beliefs, oh my god, it's terrible. All right.
Okay.
We're not done. All right, we're not done. Okay, ready? I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know if I remember what I put on here.
We'll find out. We'll tackle it together.
I don't think this one's as bad. If I'm not I'm not gonna lie. If you came on here and you're like DC all the way, I think I would have ended the stream.
I'd cut it off. That'd be fair. I'd have totally respected. Like, all right, this guy. Everything I said. Everything I said. Hey, cut it. Forget. Hey, edit. Get this out. Get this man out of my. Get him out of my face. Get this guy
removed. I'd be like, you're out.
Like we're talking the Flash. Like the Superman and the Flash. What are we talking about?
Speaking of the Flash, all right. Listen, I won't lie. I was a CW watcher. Okay, I was a CW watcher. I did my best.
I like the show. Arrow is good. Arrow is good.
I am a green. My son's name is Oliver because of Oliver Queen. Okay,
Arrow is good.
Smallville
is good.
I am a DC in where it makes sense.
Okay,
it makes sense, and I think that Arrow is actually the Green Arrow as a story is actually a good story because he is not. He's just a guy.
Okay, you need to be vulnerable. You need to have.
He literally is just a vigilante, right? Like he is just a guy. His actual struggle is struggle. The Flash. What's the villain of the Flash? Oh, the guy that's maybe a little faster than you.
He's got a better 40 split than you do. I think that's just like okay. I can agree with that. Like I like somebody save me. I watched Smallville. I enjoyed it. I like the drama. I hate Superman, but I like Smallville. Okay. I liked Green Arrow. I like the Flash. Those shows are okay. Okay. Because the drama, I like the TV shows, but I as far as the comics, as far as the movies.
And then awful. The worst is I just had this conversation. Scott showed up in chat apparently eventually. We were just talking about the Daredevil, right?
Yeah.
Have you watched Daredevil at all? The new season of it?
I have started it. We did start watching it. I didn't finish. I have not finished.
Did you watch No. Did you watch the Netflix Daredevil?
I did watch the Netflix Daredevil and the Punisher. You didn't like those?
No.
Okay. Let you cook. Let him cook.
When Daredevil on Netflix came out, literally my first words out of my mouth were, "God, I hate the CW." Because if Arrow was on Netflix,
oh man, yeah,
you can't even hate. Like it would have been so much better,
right?
So much better
because the whole superhero aspect kind of took a back seat to just a gritty drama show, and then he puts the mask on and gets loose with that whole thing. I enjoyed it all. I like this new Daredevil. I'm big no shout out to Disney again. I know we're Team Disney over here on Disney Plus, but they need to get out of the whole. Let me just feed you one episode at a time bag. Just put them all out.
No. Oh my God. Let me just podcast on that.
Let me just watch the damn things at my own discretion. I get it.
Please. Listen, we go back to capitalism. They want people to
I got it.
Tag along.
You got me though. I'm giving you the money. You already have me.
It's really funny. Also, this goes back to I meant to make this comment earlier in the Metafy stuff. We literally live in a world where we do not own anything. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't own anybody's time. We literally only own the right to a play button. Right?
Yeah.
All of your streams, everything you're doing, the only thing that you own is the right to click play.
That's it.
It's it. A whole world is designed around this now.
It's crazy.
So this whole crazy conception of people not buying into the content creation is bro, you're paying for Netflix, you're paying for Disney Plus, you're paying for Hulu. Don't take it out on the content creator because they want you to pay and respect their time.
Right.
That's a tangent.
I can't think of the last time. I can't think of the last time I put a DVD into a DVD player and watched a movie. It's been actual years at this point, and I do feel sad about that a little bit because we're going to be cooked if all this stuff.
We don't own anything, literally nothing. Yeah. But all right, ready? Ready?
Let's go. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. This is tough. You're putting the kiboshki on my system right now. You're putting the kiboshki on my system right now. But let me tell you something right now. Okay, as an old, okay, and this is not a 10. Okay, I am a black man. Okay, and I grew up in the South in Atlanta, and a lot of times, you kind of listen to the music of your culture, a lot of R&B, a lot of rap, a lot of soul, whatever. That's kind of what I grew up listening to for the most part. Okay, but when this scene hit the thing, and I started getting introduced to this type of music, it was just such a vibe, dude. It was so good during that time of life, and it was for everyone. Okay, I'm trying to tell you right now, Blink 182 will clear Green Day, and I'm gonna make some people mad at this one. People are gonna get mad. Blink 182 clear people who don't know, who weren't there in that moment in time when Blink 182 was on the scene. You just have no idea how big and impactful that squad was. Green Day, taking nothing away from Green Day, but I wasn't in San Francisco during the time when they were really, really getting it in on the punk scene. I just wasn't there for that. Okay, they're a bit before my time, but Blink 182 was they had it going on. We're talking hits after hits after hits after hits, and the music was just so fun, but it was so deep, and it spoke to the whole generation. And I think that Blink clears easy. Blink 182 all the way.
Yeah, I think Blink had albums that did that.
Yeah,
I think Green Day needed American Idiot. Green
really...
Day needed to be political to get on the level that Blink 182 was. And what the only debate in the argument here, and it's because I'm in the industry, I work in the entertainment industry, and what I can tell you, and it depresses me. Okay, it does. I am a 100% Blink 182 is the soundtrack to my life. Okay. I'm a diehard fan through and through. I would pay money to see them every single time. And it actually pains me into a depression that last year, Blink 182 and Green Day were both on tour, and Green Day sold out Citizens Bank Park, which for those of you that are not sports fans is the Philadelphia Phillies, home of the Phils. And that stadium, 20, 30, 40,000 people were able to fill that stadium for Green Day. And I firmly believe that Blink 182 could do the same thing, and they could sell out their show without a problem. But Blink was in that 15,000 arena, And I would have loved to have been a part of a world where Blink 182 was selling out Citizens Bank Park or Lincoln Financial, because I do think that they are, without a shadow of a doubt, better than Green Day.
Without close, it's not even close. Yeah. It's just, people have their ravenous fans, and people don't understand. We were talking about this again. If we would have added that other hour that we had before the pod, this thing would already be at a fire, because we were already going before you even hit play on the stream. And we did talk about this, is that we grew up in a time where times are different. I don't think we'll ever see another band style like a Blink 182 that has that type of resonance and popularity. Because I'm sitting in my 2008 Chevy Colorado. Okay, I'm riding down I-5 going to the job, and I got 99X, the Rock of Seattle, is on TV on my radio system there. I turn it up. Guess what? We got the golden oldies. It's time for classic rock. All the small things. I pull my truck over to the side. I'm like, wait a minute. I pull my truck over. I'm at a red light. I'm like, truth cares. You bring. I'll take. Wait a minute. How did that become on the classic rock network?
Know. Yeah. Well, the answer is we're old.
We're old. That's when I was like, that's when I realized I'm an old now. My 2008 Chevy Colorado is like, hey man, we're old now. I got an old man truck now. That's an old man truck, and I'm driving. Like, dude, I got the hat on, I got the glasses, I got the pop collar. I'm an old guy now, and it sucks, dude.
Yeah.
It sucks, dude.
We're old. Yeah.
Say it so. I will not go. Turn the lights out. Carry me up. That's such a fun, great song, dude.
26 years old.
That's crazy. That's That's crazy. Dude, Offspring is good too. We could talk about music all day.
No, we could.
Offspring is great. Blink is great. All that music at that time was great. But
I don't want to do you a disservice. So what I need to do at this point in time is that we gotta give the flowers. Okay. I gotta say thank you. All right, thank you, JDZ, for coming on and joining with me.
Of course.
3-hour stream today. All right,
Hey, it felt like a minute.
I don't think there was ever dead space.
It felt like a minute, honestly.
And I think that's what I love most about this. So I do, JDZ Quest. If you're already on YouTube, it's already in the description. That's how we roll. If we're not, all right. If we're not, JDZ, tell them where aside from everywhere. Okay.
If all right, and that's the energy that I'm behind. And I know some people are like, hey, I'm sick of this JDZ guy. I can't get enough. I'm done with him. I need to take a break. What I'm going to ask you to do is just take a break and come on back, because I'm being relentless on the approach, because I'm hungry and I want to do this. Okay, so I'm streaming almost every day on Twitch. I'm on YouTube. Videos are coming out almost multiple times a week. I'm on X. I'm on Instagram. I'm everywhere because I am trying to make this happen. So if you like what you see, don't turn off your TV. Okay, switch it over to Twitch. JDZ Quests on Twitch. I'm on YouTube. JDZ Quests on YouTube, and I got another tournament I'm covering this weekend. People are DMing me saying, "Hey, I got this tournament. Would you mind broadcasting?" I'm probably going to say yes, because I need to sharpen my craft. I want to keep honing my skills, and I want to keep broadcasting. I'm down. If you got a tournament and you need a guy, I
need a guy.
There you go.
You guys might actually get 10 hours of Dan and JDZ. That's scary.
Let's go.
Scary.
After hour number 6, the wheels fall off a little bit, and that's when it gets really, really fun. So I would love to kick it in the dojo with you for a 10-hour, 12-hour piece, because again, I'm just doing exactly what I want to be doing, filled with love and compassion and vigor, and the game is great. I can't get enough. So if you guys have that type of mentality, you like that approach, follow me on Twitch, the same energy. I stream almost every day. And if you follow me on YouTube, same energy. And Dan, I'm telling you right now, thank you for allowing me to come by. And when you put this post up, you're like, hey, who wants to come and join? I put it up there. You're like, hey, it's going to be earlier time. I don't think you want to do it. You got to understand, we're locked in, laser focused. I'm in the dojo. I'm in it. You give me a shot, I'm going to take it. And I'm going to come over here and rock with you, man. And if you ever need me to come back or want me to come back, I would love to be a part of that game.
3 out of 4 visitors were from the West Coast. You guys were hungry. All right.
Let's go. Absolutely.
And shout out to everybody. This has been a lot of fun for me. I say it all the time. Like, my favorite thing to do is sit here and talk Disney Lorcana with people that I know, I respect, I can learn from, I can be better because of. Like, I think these are moments that you don't get back. You talk about time. I wanted to spend. We were vibing, all right, at the 12:30 mark. All right, we were vibing, and I grabbed my phone. I was like, "Yo, wife, you got to do me a solid. I can't end this stream early today. It's got to go as long as it possibly can go today, because we got to get the most out of this time, out of this space. We don't know when it's going to happen again, right? We don't know.
Okay, but again, shout out to the spouses, man.
It will happen again, right? It seems like impossible at this point, but yeah. So I had to give that extra hour, right? Normally we end like around 1:15. I eat lunch, I go pick up the kids. Like, no, today. Shout out to TFM Kylie. She went out there, she picked up the kids.
Nice.
But it is one of those things that we do. We unfortunately we gotta land the plane. We gotta hit. Yep. We gotta do it, because if not, my kids are gonna run in here. They're gonna scream, yelling crazy stuff, and like, we don't want that for stream either, right? I don't want to do JD the service there. So, I seriously thank you for coming on, joining me today. It's been a
anytime, man. Anytime.
And I look forward to the next time. We had a very, very small period of time together on the ICL. And I'm talking like it felt like 30 minutes. I was like, it wasn't enough time. It wasn't.
We didn't do it again. Like I said, I know you got a cast of characters that you're bringing in here, and I will continue to watch and support the morning show. I'll be sitting here probably right where I am right now, just as a watcher, tuned in, just listening to what you guys are talking about. But if you ever need a guy to come back in here, I love the energy. I love not having to run the whole broadcast and just sitting here and just providing whatever. Whatever. I would love to do that. So
there's definitely days where, like, because we do the Thursday night stream also with me and Dick, and sometimes we have some guests, and there's days where I'm like, all right, Dick, listen, you're the driver tonight. I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing this. Yeah. It takes a lot of mental focus to do the whole thing, and that's when all the stuff.
But you know what? Sometimes it's easy. I actually I think covering a tournament all day, that's way more difficult than just sit here.
Absolutely.
So it is great, but we gotta close it. We gotta send it over to our homie. All right, I'm normally bad at this because I don't have Twitch open, but we're gonna get the raid today. We're gonna send those in the right direction. But we do remember, 5 p.m. on Garrick, right? Garrick's lair today.
Yes, if you're East Coast, it's going to be 5 p.m. prime time power hour at Garrick's Lorcana lair. If you want to see Zan Sayed and Moya, and we didn't talk about that match too much because there is a little bit of conflict there. There's a little bit of tension. There's a little bit of beef there. Okay, I don't want to get too much drama, but there is some intrigue. There's some story there. I will be locked in the Lorcana lair this afternoon. Back at it again. Love me some Garrick, dude. I hate the fact that his hair is so nice.
Right? There can certainly be beef as long as there is respect.
Yeah.
We beef with everybody because we think it's fun. You know, we think we had a good time. We got Sploosh and Dick last night. It was a lot of fun, right? Like building that all up, having a lot of fun. It's all fun and games. We all come away. Everybody's having fun. We're all laughing together. We're all in the DMs. For 5 months, me and Baker were in DMs laughing at the comments that were coming out, at people thinking how serious it was. It ain't serious. It's all love.
I love Baker. Baker is a showman, and he understands how to put someone over, how to put on a good show, how to be a heel, how to get it. And I love that. I think the community needs more of that. As long, like you said, it's done in a peaceful and in a kind manner. I think more of that could be great because more of that wrestling energy could be nice for Lorcana.
We are gonna full send it. We're gonna start knocking on the door of Mr. Wonderland. If you guys are over on Twitch, thank you so much. Enjoy the Wonderland stream. He's the wizard. He's the best. I'm sure you guys all know him and love him.
I love me some Luke.
And if you're on YouTube, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this evening, and we'll catch you in the next one.